Chapter 1. Worst tutorial ever. Tutorials aren't as easy nowadays. Would you like to take the tutorial to gain the gamer as an ability? This ability will allow you to live your life as if you were a video game character. Yes. No PS. You may control the text boxes and the selections by voice commands, hand motions, or focusing your thoughts. Issei woke up to the above words displayed on a text box right in front of me. No way. Did my life just turned into a video game? This is awesome, was what I thought at the time. After all, video games were my next best hobby besides satisfying my perverse desires, though peeping, watching porn and playing erogaze. I thought I knew what I was getting into, having read various mangas, webcomics, light novels, and having watched tons of anime. In particular, the text box reminded me of Han Ji-han's ability, the gamer, from a Korean manhwa I read some time ago. I couldn't help but think that since I'm getting a tutorial which Ji-han did not get, that my new life of grinding and measurable achievements would be so much easier than his. And it did change my life. Well, technically life changes all the time, just that this case it went downhill very quickly. In this case I fought in a vast white alternate dimension with all the weapons I've seen in my video games littered on the floor versus someone that looks like you, claim to be you, and continually makes a mockery of you, just like in Persona 4. 5 minutes ago, drip blood continues to drip from the deep cut on my left shoulder, a shallow horizontal slash at the center of my torso, and some minor slices on the rest of my chest. What's wrong? Pant. Me, pant. Is that all you've got? Pant. Oh wait, yeah, that's probably all pant that the pathetic, perverted, useless and dumb me can do, screamed the other, me, whilst wiping my, our blood of the replica of Guy Bold, from Fate, Stay Night he's holding. Ha ha ha. I groan in pain and also pant from fatigue from running away from him so long. This other me had appeared 5 meters in front of me when I was teleported to this space after choosing yes to the tutorial option mentally. It immediately grabbed that lance that was next to him and went on to stab my chest, which I narrowly dodged by twisting my body to the side, then immediately started running away from him. From then on he claimed to be me and mocked my lifestyle, my love for Opie, and for being weak. I asked why he was trying to kill me, and he responded with, "Why not? A useless fellow like you who has accomplished nothing with his life besides being an asshole to women, sexualizing them and treating them as objects to ogle and as tools to satiate your lust won't be missed at all. In fact, when I kill you, emphasis on the when, I will replace you in the real world along with obtaining the gamer ability. I will become a better issei than you could ever be." After that it was more taunting, insults, attempts to kill me. And I realized he was right, that he was right about my life. About not achieving anything noteworthy, about being stupid, unappreciative of my parents, a disappointment, a sexist, and in general a hated enemy of all women. Have I ever done anything I can be proud of? The answer to that was honestly no. My grades were horrible. I'm a lazy ass. My parents consider me an embodiment of sexual desire. I can think of no one that has anything good to say about me besides my friends Motohama and Matsuda, who sadly are perverted creeps, just like me. Would I become a so-called hero because I get a main character-like power? While I don't think I'm an evil person, when I think back to the embarrassment and anger I caused to the ones I peek at, I am definitely the bad guy. Would I change due to getting this power? I suppose the answer is I will, but will it be for the worse or the better? Every time I think about these questions, his insults and how absolutely right he was about me, I lose the will to fight. Would he really be a better person than me? I don't want to disappoint my parents any longer. When I think of what I had done with my life, I'm sure some would agree that anyone could do better with it. But I don't want to die. My wounds hurt a lot right now. I'm scared of getting hurt more, and I'm scared of death and what's to come. Finally decided to let me kill you, pant. That's more like it. I will make it as painless as I can, so just stay right there, pant. He said in a tone that can be described as gleeful, and took his time walking to me, which I can guess it's due to him being as tired as I am. I look in front of me and I see a pair of short white and black swords stabbed in the ground just in the corner of my eye, specifically archers Kanzhou and Bakuya from Fate, Stay Night. For whatever reason I thought back to that long sleepless night I spent finishing the visual novel, and how I admired the lengths the characters and especially Archer would go to live and to fulfill their ideals. Why should I give up? There's no guarantee that this other, me, was going to be any better than me just because he acknowledges my faults. In fact, he might be homicidal considering he immediately tried to kill me. I don't want to die here. I don't want to die as I am. Not as some perverted, creepy, stupid asshole. When I die after I'm satisfied with my life, I can die after I have made my parents proud. I come to that resolution after all that fighting, which was basically me getting attacked without me fighting back. I turned and dashed towards Archer's swords, picking up Kanzhao with my left hand and Bikuya with my right hand. I then turned to see the other, me, shaking his head in disapproval. Took you long enough to decide to fight, to decide to kill. Do you really think you can go through with it? He asked. I understand that there's no way out besides killing each other. It's quite obvious that this is the only way to end the tutorial battle. In my defense, you attacked me first, but more than that, I will not die here. I will not die to you, not like this. I know that I certainly not the best person to say the least, but I will change. I will put this power to good use, and so I will fight and kill you, I responded. Do you really think you can win with an injured left shoulder and with your current injuries? Well, whatever, it won't be my problem after this is over with, he said, and then he imitated Lancer's guarding stance with the lance. I ignore the pain as I leave myself open just like Archer does, holding each sword to my side. I know that I will die from blood loss if this keeps up, considering the unhealable wounds Guy Bolg leaves. I have to kill him with this attack. A lance's strongest move is its thrust and its advantage is its range. The other, me, is still me. He's just as unskilled as I am in weapons, so reacting and withdrawing skillfully will not be in his ability. We are currently 5 meters apart. I start dashing at him first and he waits for me to get in his range. Since I'm attacking using a lower aggressive stance, I leave my upper body and my head completely exposed. An easy target, but also the most likely target. I'm unskilled, so I have to gamble that he will be aiming for my heart or head. At 2 meters apart, his lance was about to meet my face, but my left hand has already completed its upper left diagonal slash with Bikuya, which I started 3 meters away from him in anticipation of a thrust towards my face. I deflected the thrust with just enough power for it to be pushed to the left of my head with only a small cut to my cheek. Once I got past the tip of the lance, I dropped Bikuya and grabbed Guy Bolg with my left hand and pulled him towards me through the lance. He pushed myself forward against the defenseless doppelganger, and as I took one large step, I slashed with Kanzhao with my right hand, leaving a large diagonal gash from his right shoulder to his lower left torso. Kua, wheeze, he took the lance of his hands as he fell to his knees. Well, looks like you get to live, I guess. His voice started to strain. I caught the returning Bikuya with my left hand, then I put both swords in an X position at his neck, intending to behead him. Sorry, I don't intend to die, nor will I live as selfishly and perversely as I have lived. My hands start shaking again. Clearly he noticed my shaking hands, and surprisingly he responded with, "Don't need to be sorry. Live how you want." That's not what I wanted. I just wanted to live a full life, and to do more than I could ever dreamed about. He coughed up some blood, then looked at me straight in the eyes. Hey, I was decent enough to offer a quick death. Care to return the favor? He asked with a small smirk. My hands stopped shaking and I looked at him resolutely and said, "Sure, and thanks for setting me straight," I said to him. All I said was stuff you already knew. You just needed to start thinking about it. I would know. After all, I'm you, he replied with a smile while closing his eyes. Yeah, you're me, and I promise you, myself, that I will live a life I can be proud of. Thanks anyway, goodbye, I replied and lifted my hands outwardly to gather momentum, then brought down the swords on his neck. It wasn't a clean beheading. I'm not strong enough to do something like that. All I could do was slice through till the bone. After that, the world dissolved, and I was back in my room, my hands empty and back to present. HP and SP are fully restored. From making smart combat decisions and making wise life decisions, your wisdom has increased by 5. I mentally dismissed the message and the screen disappeared from sight. I looked in the mirror and noticed that both the pain and my wounds were gone, but there was a very light and shallow scar on my face. I take off my shirt and see that there were similar scars where I was injured before, but there was no discomfort left from the wounds and none while moving my left shoulder, which had a larger wound. Suddenly a flood of information entered my head. Basic information about my ability, stat points, inventory, skills, quests, reincarnation and other options filled my head. After the information stopped flowing into my head, I found myself calmer than I have ever been. I think back to me taking a life, but whilst I felt disturbed, I soon found myself thinking rationally regardless. Status, I said softly, despite knowing from the information in my head that I could mentally will the screen to appear. Name, Hyodo Issei. Age, 16. Latvian Laches, 1 EXP, 0/15 title, Perverted Beast Affiliation, Perverted Trio. Race, Human. HP, 100/100 region, 1 per hour MP, 50/50 region, 1.2 per minute. str. 5, 4 plus 1, end. 5, 5 plus 0, agi. 4, 3 plus 1, int. 3, 3 plus 0. Wis. 6, 6 plus 0, mag. 1, 1 plus 0, luck. 5, 5 plus 0, points. 0 yen. 0. LVL. Level, a basic measure of experience and an estimate of strength. When you get enough express, you will level up and gain some status points. HP. A representation of your life force and health. When HP reaches 0, you die. MP. A representation of your magic energy, used to perform skills. STR. Governs brute force. The higher your strength, the higher your physical output will be it in attacks, movement, or defense. End. Governs physical endurance. The greater your endurance, the greater your stamina and defense will be. Increases HP capacity. AGI. Governs reflexes, agility, coordination, speed and accuracy. The higher it is, the higher your speed, critical rate, dodge rate and accuracy will be. INT. Governs the ability to process and store information, increases your mana control and efficiency. WIS. Governs sensibility, perceptiveness, willpower and the ability to make information useful. Increases mana regen. Also increases dodge, critical rates and accuracy by a bit. MAG. Governs magical energy. Increases mana pool, magic damage and magic defense. Luck. Luck controls how much events will be in your favor, and governs the quality and frequency of favorable opportunities. Increases drop rates, chance for critical hits and favorability of events. Does not increase naturally unless you experience a streak of good luck. My wisdom is at 6 now, which meant that my wisdom was at 1 before I resolved myself. It seems I really was that foolish, hey. I chuckled lightly in self-depreciation for a moment before saying, skills. Skills list. Gamer's mind. Passive, description. Allows the user to calmly and logically think things through in most circumstances. Allows a peaceful state of mind. Immunity to psychological and mental status effects. Gamer's body. Default, passive, description. Grants a body that allows for the user to live the real world like a game. Pain from damage does not last after a few seconds. Sleeping restores HP, MP and heals all temporary status effects. Variance. Mostly normal body, locked. Beginner's boost, passive. Description. Allows the user to quickly gain and level skills and traits that were present before the acquisition of the power of the gamer to their appropriate levels. Fiction adaptation. Passive, description. This ability allows you to adapt fictional knowledge and skills to your life and to use them as if they were truths. CG Emiya stance. Passive, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 15% description. A stance which deliberately creates many openings. False openings are created for the sake of parrying or dodging blows to those very openings. Main purpose of stance is for use in combat against opponents stronger than oneself. When taking this stance, you received the following bonuses. Increase in AGI and STR by 10% when parrying. You passively gain the following bonuses when taking or not taking this stance. Increase in AGI and WIS by 0.5%, Eye of the Mind, passive, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 1%. Description. A heightened capability for observation, refined through experience. Allows for calm analysis in danger. Effects improve as skill level, battle experience, intelligence and wisdom increase. Sword Mastery. Passive, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 70% description. A skill that allows the user to freely wield swords. Sword Mastery is obtained through continuous usage of swords. Increase in damage when using swords by 10%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in STR and AGI by 0.5, Dual Wielding Mastery, passive, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 50%. Description. A skill that allows the user to use 2 weapons better. Dual Wielding Mastery is obtained through continuous usage of 2 swords in each hand. Increase in damage when using dual wielding by 10%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in STR and AGI by 0.5. After taking a look at my skills, I check the clock and it's 6 a.m. in the morning. I have to leave for school at 7 a.m. to make it on time. But first I decide to remove the perverted beast title since it apparently makes others implicitly perceive me as perverted. No idea how that works, but then again I'm pretty sure no one has an idea how this ability came to be. Seems like I already gained a fictional skill like Eye of the Mind from FSN, which is awesome. I then decide to get to try to obtain one of the most important skill for anyone with this ability. I then stared at my uniform and make random observations in my head when I felt an energy leaving my eyes and returning in an instant. A pop-up appeared right after that. You have gained a skill through a special action. Observe, active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 0% MP cost, 1. Description. A skill to observe objects, situations, and beings that allowing the user to quickly gather information. The higher the skill, the greater the data obtained. The greater the amount of knowledge and insight the user has, the more information can be displayed. At level 10, the skill comments on what is observed. Also affected by int and wis. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in int by 1. Kuo uniform male, rank, F, durability, 11/11 def, 2. Description. Standard male uniform of Kuo Academy. Considering it's a school with a good reputation, wearing the uniform increases your reputation gain. Kikaku Dori, just as planned, as I thought, my ability is extremely similar to Han's version of The Gamer. I then decided to turn on my computer and go online to reread the first few chapters of The Gamer, for reference. I then decide on the obvious course of action, Han's method of training for physical stats, studying hard for int but also pumping stats into int as it's harder to obtain than physical stats is a decent strategy. However, magic seems to be separate from int and stems mostly from mag. I will have to increase that ASAP to grind skills. Although I also have to increase my wis so that I can come up with better strategies to increase my other stats in a more efficient manner. I should increase, observe, S level till I can get enough information to tell who's dangerous and who's not. This will also be good for understanding my abilities in relation to others. Considering it costs 1 megapixel and I regenerate back 1 megapixel per minute, I have to use it at least once per minute for maximum efficiency. From the information that flowed into my head, ID create and ID escape can be made, but I will handle that after school, as paying attention in class will likely increase my abysmal int, plus I'm likely to get some much needed quest which will help me level and increase my mag for MP to spam. I also need to find skill books. They will disappear if I choose to learn skills from them, so I will avoid using library books and instead note down useful books, then use my own money to buy them myself. I don't plan to become a thief unless absolutely necessary. I should start by searching my room for any books that could be used. Lastly, I should put anything useful into my inventory such as money and weapons. It's better to be on the safe side, and it will make sure none of my money will be lost by accident. You have made a series of wise decisions and as a result your wisdom has increased by 2. As I thought, making simple pragmatic decisions increased my wis. I suppose I really was that dumb. In any case, I better get to it. I walked to the bathroom to shower and made sure to use observe at least once every minute on random objects. After that I stuffed all my porn and erogaze into my inventory, which I will probably resell to my Matsuda and Motohama at cutthroat prices to get some cash for weapons and skill books. I soon came across my Fate, Stay Night disc, and to my surprise a pop-up alert appeared. You have acquired a skill disc. Would you like to learn Nasuverse Magecraft? Yes. No, choosing yes in my head, the disc disappeared and knowledge that seems like it was plucked out of the type Moonwiki was absorbed by my brain. After that my brain processes all the text scenes and CG scenes. OMG, Shuru's monologue when having sex, WTF is this shit. Finally, the information about servants and noble phantasms within the game is assimilated into my knowledge. Nasuverse Affinity. Passive. Description. An affinity that allows the user to freely use magecraft, magic and techniques from the Nasuverse. Effects may differ from the Nasuverse based on the rules of your current world. So it seems it only allows me to use magecraft and all that but not give me any usable skills. I can't imagine it will be efficient to learn spells with high amounts of research needed. Guess I will just go the Emiya route since I could use projection or tracing to make some weapons to train with. I suppose I should also try to see if any of my manga and anime can be used to create skills. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Technique, would be effective for grinding skills, since the experience from clones fed back to Naruto in the manga. I can't see why that won't work for me assuming I manage to learn ninjutsu. My observe has already leveled up to 3, which is pretty good for half an hour, I guess. I walked down to the dining room and found my parents just about to eat breakfast. I greet them and began eating while using observe on them. I found that I could see their stats, and if anything it seems the average stat for average adults seemed to be 10, other than that there was nothing special about their stats and descriptions. Issei. When did you get that scratch on your cheek? My mother asked. Thankfully my gamer's mind kept me calm and I said, oh, I accidentally scratched my cheek on the sharp edge of my window. It wasn't deep or anything, so I went ahead and disinfected it and put a plaster on it for the night. I lied. Thankfully they think it's a scratch and not a scar for whatever reason. Honestly, I'm feeling guiltier than usual for lying to my parents. I want to make them proud, but as much as I would love to be honest and tell them I got thrown into an alternate dimension, then got the scars from fighting a doppelganger of myself that wielded a cursed spear, I highly doubt it will be to my immediate and long-term benefit if they sent me to a psychiatrist. You have gained a skill through a special action. Deception. Passive. LVL.5, 100 EXP, 6%. Description. Ability to deceive others about your intentions and actions through the use of lies, half-truths and tricks. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in int and wis by 2.5. Looks like I have to live with a bit of guilt to get stronger, but if it will help me live life to the fullest, then I won't waste my time feeling guilty about it. After eating breakfast, I put on my shoes and got ready to leave the house when suddenly. Quest alert. Optional. Title. Get to school on time. Objectives. Exactly what the title says. Completion reward, 30 express. Failure penalty. Decreased reputation from Suna Shitori. I accept the quest, mentally deciding to think about the question mark next to Kaichu's name later. I ran towards the school at top speed, intending to build up either my AGI or end. Of course, I made sure to use observe on my fellow students who I saw on the way. It would seem that the average stats for high schoolers range from 6 to 8, with some int reaching 10. I suppose that's expected from a prestigious academy. Right now I'm in my third term as a first-year high schooler, currently at the start of my second week in January. Finals are coming up, so raising int and possibly getting express from quests stemming from scoring on exams would be good. I can also use the cold weather to learn cold resistance, or something similar. Which reminds me, I have to buy some weights so I can train Rock Lee style and increase my physical states quicker. I reached the school within 10 minutes and I was left panting like crazy. I almost gave up several times during the run, but I remember that to live myself with my head held high I needed to get stronger. The mag stat essential proves that magic exists. And where there is magic, there will be supernatural forces and dangers. Thus effectively I cannot live my life in bliss and in peace any longer. I face to get stronger and prepare for what will come. In the end I arrived at school 20 minutes earlier than usual. By sprinting and continuous running you have increased AGI and end by 1. Excellent, excellent, just as planned. Muahahahaha. Okay, time to stop laughing to myself in my head. Quest completed. 30 plus 5 EXP received. You have leveled up twice, gained 10 stat points. I called up my status screen to check my current stats. Name. Hyodo Issei. Age. 16. Latvian Laches. 3 EXP. 157th title. None affiliation. Perverted trio. Race. Human. HP. 120 120ths region. 1 per minute MP. 50-50 region. 2.1 per minute. STR. 5, 4 plus 1. End. 6, 6 plus 0. AGI. 5, 4 plus 1. Int. 8.5, 3 plus 5.5. WIS. 10.5, 8 plus 2.5. Mag. 1, 1 plus 0. Luck. 5, 5 plus 0. Points. 10. Yen. 3,300. Well now, interestingly I have somehow quickly surpassed the average adult in wisdom simply by deciding to make the most of my life. I'm pretty sure my ability is trying to say something about the average person, but that isn't my immediate concern right now. Raising int, mag, wis and luck are one of the most pressing concerns. I don't plan to underestimate the effect of LUK. Getting lucky drops will be very beneficial, especially if there's a chance for skill books to drop, which I plan on testing once I get ID create. Wis is obviously important and so is int, but I will have to see if I can increase it normally at lower levels first. The most likely possibility is that at higher levels it will become more difficult to increase them naturally. Therefore, saving points till the benefits from training for the points become significantly lower. The benefits of increasing them through my level up points will be the most efficient method. The first value of my stats are the total stats, whilst the brackets reflect base stats and bonus stats from skills. If I keep leveling up, observe, my int should quickly rise. I should also try to calculate the express algorithm, or at least find a game with a similar algorithm. I get the feeling I have seen an MMORPG with the express requirement at level 1 to be at 15 express, but I can't seem to recall it. In any case, I decide to fiddle with the options and to study some of the books before class starts. I turn on the auto loot function in the hide player information, which apparently obscures what people can discern of me aside of what they already know or expect of me. I decide to put 6 points into luck and put the rest into mag, as I can't increase luck without getting lucky, and to get lucky I obviously need luck. It kind of seems like a rich get richer thing. The world is obviously not fair. I mean, you get handsome guys like Kiba Yudo getting all the girls, so why should I play fair? Which reminds me, I should probably check his stats when I see him. After doing some quick math, I surmised that every point in end probably equated to 20 HP per stat, and mana regen per minute is increased by 0.2 per every WIS stat point. Soon after, Motohama and Matsuda arrived just before class started. I used observe on both of them. Name: Honda Matsuda. Age: 16. Latvian Laches, 2 EXP, 3/34 title, sexual harassment paparazzi affiliation, perverted trio. Race: human. HP: 100/100ths of a megapixel, 60/60ths STR, 7 END, 7 AGI, 7. Int: 3 WIS, 3 MAG, 2 LUK. 2. His physical stats aren't too bad, I guess, since he was a former middle school sports star and stuff, but he really let himself go. Name: Abarai Motohama. Age: 16. Latvian Laches, 1 EXP, 13/15ths title, perverted glasses affiliation, perverted trio. Race: human. HP: 60/60ths of a megapixel, 70/70ths STR, 4 END, 3 AGI, 5. Int: 4 WIS, 4 MAG, 3 LUK. 2 sucky stats. Admittedly, my initial stats weren't far off, so I have no right to insult his stats. Although comparing out stats, it's quite clear that the base mag pool for everyone with a mag of 1 is 50, but every subsequent point increases it by 10. Hey Issei, you up for peeking at the Kendo Club girls today? Motohama asked me in broad daylight as per usual. No, I'm not up for peeking. In fact, don't bother inviting me to peek anymore. By the way, I'm planning to sell or get rid of all my porn and erogaze, so come by my house sometime and you can take it off my hands, I said to him using my serious tone but quietly. Motohama and Matsuda then stared at me without moving an inch for like about 10 seconds, before screaming at me and grabbing me by the collar. Who are you? What have you done with Issei? Give us back our comrade, you bastard imposter. I calmly pulled their hands away from me, which released me from their grip on my uniform. At this point half of the class was staring at us, but I paid them no heed. I'm Issei, Hyodo Issei. I'm not an imposter, it's just that circumstances and some thinking has led me to focus my priorities. I intend to live my life in a way I can make me and my parents proud, and as such I have to intention of returning to living a life thinking about opai and women at every waking moment. We can still be friends, but don't involve me in any perverse talk of objectifying women, and in your case Matsuda, lawless. You might think I have suddenly betrayed my desires and whatnot, but I assure you I simply want to make the most of my life, and to do that I can no longer live as I have before. Now, homeroom is about to start. If you want to say something, save it for the break. I replied without hesitating and without pausing. Thinking back at it, I must have sounded slightly pissed at them. I suppose that's because they reminded me of myself before that messed up tutorial boss. Most of the class at this point had a shocked look on their faces whilst I was sat back down at my seat and opened my biology textbook to begin studying. Along with some whispers about them disbelieving I have changed, some about this being the perverted trio's first real conflict and some giving me the benefit of the doubt, etc. In any case, that's not my problem. I intend to increase my int as much as I can ASAP with exams approaching, and so I used every moment during homeroom to study when I can. I made sure to pay attention during the first class whilst occasionally using observe on various people. Katase's and Murayama's physical stats were around and above the average adult, with STR and AGI hovering around 12. Kiryu's int and WIS stats were actually pretty good, being 15 each. Other than that, the rest of the class was pretty standard for high schoolers, except that their int was usually their highest stat. It would seem that most of the girls had an average to above average luck stat, whilst the boys generally somehow had shitty luck stats. You have listened in class and took notes diligently, as a result your int has increased by 1. Motohama and Matsuda did not talk to me during the breaks in between classes and instead glared at me intensely. They were definitely hostile glares. You have gained a skill from detecting bloodlust. Detect bloodlust, passive, LVL.3, 100 EXP, 18%. Description: an ability to detect bloodlust directed at you. Range increases by 3 meters per level. Current range: 11 meters after studying and getting though more classes till the lunch break. You have listened in class and took notes diligently, as a result your int has increased by 1. I had gained another int. After lunch break me, Motohama and Matsuda went to talk on the rooftop. Where the talk basically revolved around their strong beliefs of me being the embodiment of sexual desire and the prophet of Opai. After which I basically tell them that they and me included should learn from our mistakes and we should emulate Yuto Kiba at least in terms of treating women considerately. I may be jealous of the guy, but that doesn't mean I can't admit his good points. When they asked why I decided to make such a drastic change, I decided to shock them a bit and I took off my shirt and showed them my scars which I got from the fight. A deep one on my left shoulder, a medium horizontal slash at the center of my torso and some minor slash scars on the rest of my chest. Don't bother asking where I got them, I won't be telling you anytime soon. But what I can say that I intend to make sure I won't be getting any more of these. After that I put back on my shirt, and went to the cafeteria to eat. Using observe on the food shows that eating food grants temporary stat bonuses through usually with an AGI penalty. Makes sense that you can't move as fast on a full stomach. Most of the food heals HP by a percentage amount, which is good for me since that means I can stock up on food in my inventory and the benefits of the food will scale well when I get stronger. After school I made a trip to the library and noted down some books on mythology that apparently enables me to learn skills from them. After that I went and bought a bakken from a store. The purchase left me broke right after. I should ask my parents for chores so I can get some extra cash as well. As I walked home I picked up whatever sticks, stones and leaves I saw on the way. I jogged back home and went to the garden at the back. I made sure my mom wasn't looking at me. As much as I wanted to practice someplace else, I still don't trust my luck some bystander might see me. In any case I tried to create the skill, ID create. While the mana gathered in my hand and was about to spread out, it returned back to my body. It would seem that I either need more mag or int. So I decide to use Nasu style magecraft to level up my mag and practice some control. Quest alert. Optional, title. Learn Nasuverse magecraft before the evening. Objectives. Make Nasuverse magecraft into skills. Completion reward, 100 express per magecraft learnt. Failure penalty. None. I accepted the quest without hesitation. No way am I turning down free express. I took out some sticks used, observe. Then I tried to flow the mana into a branch and to analyze the contents, structure and purpose of the item. Soon information about its purpose as a tree branch to hold leaves and pass on nutrients flowed in my head. Then the branch fell as a result of a fat cat landing on it, then it being picked up by me. This took about 3 minutes for it to work. You have gained 2 new skills through a special action. Structural Grasp. Active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 40% MP cost. 3. Description. A magecraft that allows the user to analyze the contents, structure and purpose of the item. As the level increase, more information can be gained and at a quicker rate. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 0.2, and increase in int by 0.5. Mana usage. Passive, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 69% description. The ability to freely use mana. Control increases with int and skill level. Having more mana would make it more difficult to control mana at a lower level. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 0.5. Next up is reinforcement. This time I flow mana into the branch and try to fill in the gaps whilst forcing the brittle parts to harden. At the same time I compressed the wood inwards in the shape of sharp pick. This took about a minute. You have gained 2 new skills through a special action. Reinforcement. Active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 37% MP cost. 5. Description. A magecraft that allows the strengthening of the composition of the materials that make up an object to its fullest. Bonus to durability and power of reinforced object, 10% for an hour. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 0.2, alteration. Active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 44% MP cost. 3. Description. A magecraft that allows to alter the qualities and shape of the object. Permanent alteration changes the physical structure and temporary alterations adds a quality to the object. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 0.1 OK. I seem to have accidentally used two types of magecraft at the same time. Not sure why I've been succeeding the first time so far. I mean, what happened to all that? To be a magus is to walk with that shit. I haven't even lost any HP. Whatever, I'm just going to pretend it's thanks to the luck stat. If I delude myself long enough I can put more points into it. Totally not because I want to see how it's like to be lucky. Observe. I look at the branch and saw that it now resembled a sharp wooden pick. It was also harder than before. I decided to store it in my inventory in case I need to gouge out someone's eyeball in the future. Altered wooden pick. Rank F. Durability 5.5, 5 ATK, 3 plus 0.3. Description. Originally an ordinary wooden branch, alteration has reshaped it into a dense and sharp wooden pick. Perfect for gouging out eyeballs. I look at the branch and saw that it now resembled a sharp wooden pick. It was also harder than before. I decided to store it in my inventory in case I need to gouge out someone's eyeball in the future. If I was in the world of Naruto, this would probably be part of my top 10 most useful weapons, considering all the op-eye powers there. Damn you Madara, stop being op. That took 13 mana in total including using observe. But I had already regenerated about 5 mana since it took 4 minutes to do all that. Next up on the list is projection. It's probably still a shit no matter what I do, but I need another Bakken to practice dual wielding until I learn Emiya's tracing. I take out my Bakken from my inventory and used structural grasp and observe on it. Cheap Bakken. Rank F. Durability 2020 ATK 8. Description. A cheap Bakken, useful enough to bash a couple of heads in. Durability varies based on denseness of the head it hits. So basically it will break immediately if I hit a harem protagonist like Ichika. Jokes aside, let's see if I can at least get projection to work. After making sure none of my neighbors are looking in and making sure my mom is not looking. I then imagine the cheap Bakken with all the paltry history behind it. It's not tracing, since I'm not using all the extra steps, but I think it might turn up better than some crappy normal projection if I use its history. You have gained a new skills through a special action. Gradation Air. Active. LVL.1, 100 EXP, 66% MP cost, 5. Description. A magecraft that allows the materialization of an object in accordance to the caster's imagination through mana. Like its name, the object will eventually fade away to nothing, where air is an allusion to nothing. Greater consistency equals greater strength and duration. Basic duration of projection. 2 hours. Basic strength of projection, 30%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in int by 0.5. Definitely the luckiest day of my life. Tutorial boss aside. Observe. Projected cheap Bakken. Rank G. Durability 8/8 ATK. 3 duration, 3 hours. Description. A cheap Bakken, useful enough to bash a couple of heads in. Durability varies based on denseness of the head it hits. It's projected, so it sucks more. It's 4:10 PM right now and the projection will fade by dinner time, so I better get started ASAP. But first I will have to rewatch the Sword Art Online with Kirito vs Gleamize in slow motion. I have to at least try to copy Starburst stream. I mean, the skill name is too cool to ignore. 5 minutes later I began to get used to attacking with my dual Bakkens. Surprisingly, my shitty projected Bakken was of equal weight to my actual Bakken, which I guess is a benefit. After an hour of practicing basic slashes, blocks and parries whilst mixing things up with a mix of the previous magecrafts that I learned for mana efficiency sake through, which consisted of projecting more Bakkens, altering them to make them sharper, then reinforcing them. I managed to get all those skills to LVL.3, although sadly I did not get a blocking or parrying skill. I also did a couple of standard exercises like push-ups and sit-ups in between. All in all I managed to get 1 STR, AGI and end in that hour. Which honestly is pretty amazing for an hour's work. If there are any moderators, I pray that they don't nerf me. As a result of making a series of efficient and pragmatic choices, your WIS has increased by 1. After a 5-minute rest, the time is now 5:20 PM. I then went on to start recreating Starburst stream. First I do a horizontal swing to the left with the sword in my right sword, followed by an uppercut immediately from my sword in left hand. Then I do a full circle jump spin slash with both swords from left to right, and I spin on the ground again, slicing with both swords left to right. Next I swing both swords down in an X shape, and then I do an inverse X shape slash with both swords again. Next I completely forgot the rest of the steps. So embarrassing. What am I doing with my life? I'm not trying to look cool or anything. I just wanted a strong sword skill. Why do I feel so embarrassed from failing to even finish a third of the anime version of Starburst Stream? You have gained a new skills through a special action. EHHHHH, it worked. Yada. Failburst Stream. Active. LVL.1, 100 EXP, 20% MP cost, 0 or 12. Description. A cool 6-hit sword skill, a failed version of Starburst Stream. Still pretty cool. Increases slashing speed by 50%. Scales with AGI and STR. Performing the skill manually will cost no MP, using MP will force the skill to activate with increased power and speed. Manual. Average 60% DMG per hit MP, average 85% DMG per hit. Never in my life will I utter this skill name. Never in my life will I use this skill. The day I use this skill will be the day I tell Akai Kiryu I'm Gar for Archer. I'm just going to erase this memory from my head and continue. This time I put up the list of moves on my phone and practice each move one by one before actually chaining them together. And about 5 minutes before 6 p.m., you have gained a new skills through a special action. Starburst Stream, anime version, active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 41% MP cost, 0 or 42. Description. A too cool for you 21-hit high-speed dual blade skill. Epitome of the rule of cool, just using it triples your slashing speed. Excessive use will damage to the arms. Scales with AGI and STR. Performing the skill manually will cost no MP, using MP will force the skill to activate with increased power and speed. Manual. Average 70% DMG per hit MP, average 95% DMG per hit. Yata. I scream out loud. Oh, the sweet taste of success. MHHMMMMMM. So good. Ah. Issei. What is going on? My mom rushed out of the kitchen to see me on my knees with my 2 bakens lifted towards the sky. I plan to hide my powers from my parents and all, but since this is a pure sword skill with no light effects, and the fact it's too cool, I just can't resist showing this off. Mom. Watch this. And as I said that, I got up and used the manual, Starburst Stream. My mom had left her mouth wide open as she watched me perform the skill at a speed that would have been beyond the average adult. Issei. When did you get so good at using swords? We should enter you in a tournament. Oh, but they don't allow 2 swords in kendo tournaments, but if you're that good with 2 swords, that means your skills with 1 sword would have to be great too. I can't believe my useless son would turn out to be good with swords. I need to tell your father. She then rushed out to call my dad while talking about how her good-for-nothing perverted son had actually done something cool for once. Okay, why? Now I'm not too sure that was a good idea, but hey, they didn't suspect me of having some weird power or something, so I guess all's well that ends well. After all, I did want them to be proud of me. Quest complete. 100 EXPX4 Magecraft learnt. You have leveled up 3 times. You have gained 15 stat points to spend. To be continued. Stat screen. Current name, Hyodo Issei. Age, 16. LVL. 6 EXP, 116 370 seconds. Title, None affiliation, Perverted Trio. Race, Human. HP, 140 140th region, 1.4 per minute. MP, 120 120th region, 2.7 per minute. STR, 9, 5 plus 4, N, 7, 7 plus 0. AGI, 9, 5 plus 4, int, 16.5, 5 plus 11. WIS, 13.5, 9 plus 4.5, mag, 8, 5 plus 3, luck, 11, 11 plus 0, points, 15. Yen. 50 skill list, gamer's mind, passive, description. Allows the user to calmly and logically think things through in most circumstances. Allows a peaceful state of mind. Immunity to psychological and mental status effects. Gamer's body. Default, passive, description. Grants a body that allows for the user to live the real world like a game. Pain from damage does not last after a few seconds. Sleeping restores HP, MP and heals all temporary status effects. Variants. Mostly normal body, locked. Beginner's boost, passive. Description. Allows the user to quickly gain and level skills and traits that were present before the acquisition of the power of the gamer to their appropriate levels. Fiction adaptation. Passive. Description. This ability allows you to adapt fictional knowledge and skills to your life and to use them as if they were truths. CG emmea stance. Passive. LVL.2, 100 EXP. 1% description. A stance which deliberately creates many openings. False openings are created for the sake of parrying or dodging blows to those very openings. Main purpose of stance is for use in combat against opponents stronger than oneself. When taking this stance, you receive the following bonuses. Increase in AGI and STR by 12% when parrying. You passively gain the following bonuses when taking or not taking this stance. Increase in AGI and WIS by 2%. Eye of the Mind. Passive. LVL.1, 100 EXP, 5%. Description. A heightened capability for observation, refined through experience. Allows for calm analysis in danger. Effects improve as skill level, battle experience, intelligence and wisdom increase. Sword Mastery. Passive. LVL.4, 100 EXP, 22% description. A skill that allows the user to freely wield swords. Sword Mastery is obtained through continuous usage of swords. Increase in damage when using swords by 10%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in STR and AGI by 2. Dual Wielding Mastery. Passive. LVL.4, 100 EXP, 21%. Description. A skill that allows the user to use 2 weapons better. Dual Wielding Mastery is obtained through continuous usage of 2 swords in each hand. Increase in damage when using dual wielding by 10%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in STR and AGI by 2. Deception. Passive. LVL.6, 100 EXP, 16%. Description. Ability to deceive others about your intentions and actions through the use of lies, half-truths and tricks. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in int and WIS by 3. Mana usage. Passive. LVL.3, 100 EXP, 69%. Description. The ability to freely use mana. Control increases with int and skill level. Having more mana would make it more difficult to control mana at a lower level. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 1.5. Observe. Active. LVL.5, 100 EXP, 77% MP cost. 1. Description. A skill to observe objects, situations, and beings that allowing the user to quickly gather information. The higher the skill, the greater the data obtained. The greater the amount of knowledge and insight the user has, the more information can be displayed. At level 10, the skill comments on what is observed. Also affected by int and WIS. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in int by 5. Nasuverse Affinity. Passive. Description. An affinity that allows the user to freely use magecraft, magic and techniques from the Nasuverse. Effects may differ from the Nasuverse based on the rules of your current world. Structural Grasp. Active. LVL.3, 100 EXP, 61% MP cost. 3. Description. A magecraft that allows the user to analyze the contents, structure and purpose of the item. As the level increase, more information can be gained and at a quicker rate. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 0.6, and increase in int by 1.5. Reinforcement. Active. LVL.3, 100 EXP, 11% MP cost. 5. Description. A magecraft that allows the strengthening of the composition of the materials that make up an object to its fullest. Bonus to durability and power of reinforced object, 20% for an hour. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 0.6, alteration. Active. LVL.3, 100 EXP, 2% MP cost. 3. Description. A magecraft that allows to alter the qualities and shape of the object. Permanent alteration changes the physical structure and temporary alterations adds a quality to the object. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 0.3, gradation air. Active. LVL.3, 100 EXP, 3% MP cost. 5. Description. A magecraft that allows the materialization of an object in accordance to the caster's imagination through mana. Like its name, the object will eventually fade away to nothing. Where air is an illusion to nothing, greater consistency equals greater strength and duration. Basic duration of projection: 3 hours. Basic strength of projection: 34%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in int by 1.5, detect bloodlust, passive, LVL.3, 100 EXP, 88%. Description: an ability to detect bloodlust directed at you. Range increases by 3 meters per level. Current range: 11 meters, failburst stream, active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 20% MP cost, 0 or 12. Description: a cool 6-hit sword skill, a failed version of Starburst Stream. Still pretty cool. Increases slashing speed by 50%. Scales with AGI and STR. Performing the skill manually will cost no MP, using MP will force the skill to activate with increased power and speed. Manual: average 60% DMG per hit MP, average 85% DMG per hit. Starburst Stream, anime version, active, LVL.2, 100 EXP, 0% MP cost, 0 or 42. Description: a too cool for you 21-hit high-speed dual blade skill. Epitome of the rule of cool, just using it triples your slashing speed. Excessive use will damage to the arms. Scales with AGI and STR. Performing the skill manually will cost no MP, using MP will force the skill to activate with increased power and speed. Manual: average 72% DMG per hit MP, average 97% DMG per hit. AN. I don't really consider this a crossover FIC since I'm mostly referencing other series and have issei rip off all the moves and terminology from other works of fiction. Right now issei is pretty much stronger than the average human on his first day. This is because in all the other beings in the DXD universe are extremely OP in terms of mag and end stats. Issei's only hope of trashing these unbalanced mage wizards is to use lots of skills and physical stats to match them. I made this issei a bit younger than canon since I thought he might need the time to build up a decent repertoire of skills in order to wreck out favorite punching bags later. By the way, take a guess at what express table I'm using in the comments section. CH1 of 38. Next, Chapter 2. Tryhard: look, if you just give us back our son I am willing to not report you to the police, he said with a slight chuckle. For the third time I am not an imposter, although honestly I can't fault you for thinking that way. Motohama and Matsuda accused me of the same thing, I replied calmly. To think that this was the type of conversation I and my dad had over tonight's dinner. At this point I'm pretty sure he's joking considering I already had to cough up answers only Hyodo Issei would know when he first thought I was an imposter. I'm done with dinner. Do you need help washing up, Mom? Or can I go straight to studying? I asked. Once again they froze for about 10 seconds in order to process the information. Our son is studying. They both shouted in unison. Did they have to shout together every time I said something I would never had done before? They did the same when I told them I'm reselling all my ecchi stuff, looking to buy non-porn books and that I actually began to see the need for exercise. Thankfully I managed to convince them that I have no need of joining any sword tournaments, since I obviously do not want attention at this point. In any case my skills increase the power of my sword attacks but it's not like I have the experience to back it up. I plan to at least be in the top 10 for my year for the upcoming finals. That aside, do you have anything I could do around the house for some pocket money? The second bakken was borrowed from a friend and I would like to at least buy another cheap one of my own. About 3,000 yen would be enough. My dad then took out a 5,000 yen note and passed it to me. Take it, son. I checked your room earlier and found that I could no longer find any of your porn, so I suppose you're telling the truth, and if this money will help you continue to do what you are doing, I'm more than happy to support you, he said with a gentle smile. Wait, you've been using my porn? Whoops, did I just ruin the touching moment with a Tsukomi? Dear, we need to have a talk later, my mom said in an eerie tone towards my dad. Wow, I'm actually shivering from the bloodlust spill over. I regret nothing, he has good tastes, my dad said. I really don't know what I'm supposed to feel when you realize that your father has been reading your porn. At this point I decided to finish up dinner then take a shower before I begin studying. Well, of course, I will be studying. Starting with by absorbing all the information from my Naruto and Bleach collection. Knowledge of the manga's events and techniques used is downloaded into my head when I take up the first volume of each series. Kishi verse affinity. Passive. Description. An affinity that allows the user to freely use ninjutsu, fuinjutsu, taijutsu and whatever else from the Kishi verse. Effects may differ from the Kishi verse based on the rules of your current world. Kubo verse affinity. Passive. Description. An affinity that allows the user to freely use spirit techniques, hollow techniques, Quincy techniques and whatever else Kubo makes up on the go from the Kubo verse. Effects may differ from the Kubo verse based on the rules of your current world in Kubo's trolling. After that I absorbed all the Naruto, Bleach and Fate, Stay Night anime and manga volumes I had. I also made sure to learn the stuff from Fate Hollow, Ataraxia, since most of the rune knowledge stem from there. I have to make sure to buy out all the other Fate goods like Fate, Apocrypha, so I have more noble phantasms to trace when I actually get the skill. I can almost taste the delicious tears of my foes when they see everything they throw at me gets blocked by Aro Ayas. Sadly, however, all ninjutsu and stuff requires chakra and cannot be substituted by mana, which throws a wrench into my maximum efficiency plan. I guess that makes sense since chakra is a combination of spirit and physical energy. Mana is similar to spirit energy, but physical energy is similar to ki from Dragon Ball. Just because I have the knowledge to use the stuff doesn't mean I can yet. Bleach stuff should be easier to learn since spirit energy is more similar to mana. Shundo, Flash Step, is priority for obvious reasons. I mean, it will be awesome to appear behind people when they think they are behind you. After I was done with those I did the same with all the Dragon Ball stuff I had. Toriyama verse affinity. Passive. Description. An affinity that allows the user to freely use ki attacks, martial arts and whatever magic from the Toriyama verse. Effects may differ from the Toriyama verse based on the rules of your current world. At the very least I should be able to train some martial arts from this and eventually learn to use ki. Once I have an understanding of ki, it should become easier to manipulate physical energy. Then maybe after that I will be able to use chakra. In any case, it's evening time to start boosting my int and study for the finals. My int is honestly above average due to the skill boosts and not my actual base int, so before I start to pump int into it to make myself a genius and memorize everything, I should focus on getting easy stat points, thorough actual studying first. I then used up as much mana as I could, projecting, altering and reinforcing more Bakens. I tried adding qualities to the Baken like lighter or fire, but I only succeeded twice so far. Other than that I have no problem altering the physical structure. After I use most of my mana, I take out a textbook and an empty workbook and began to study. After about 15 minutes of studying I thought of trying something different. Specifically I used structural grasp on the book without touching it. I have to get the hang of it sooner or later if I have to analyze people. It worked better than I expected. It took about 40 minutes, but I managed to analyze the entire book, including all the book's knowledge. I also managed to learn some bonus stuff like how books are printed and the costs associated with it. You have made a clever decision and as a result your wisdom has increased by 1. Thanks, life, for confirming the obvious, although honestly thanks, life, for the easy stat point. Diligent studying and the acquisition of knowledge has expanded your mind and as a result your intelligence has increased by 3. Now this is what I'm looking for. It's 8 p.m. now and I could probably get some training done in private if I wake up early in the morning. Until I get ID create, I have no real means to train at night without drawing suspicions. Since it's been about an hour my mana is pretty much full, thus it's time to grind more magecraft. I don't think I will try tracing yet since it requires a lot of work in each step, which will require a lot of int. If I were Emiya then I could probably get by with low int if they were swords, but I'm pretty sure I don't have an origin like that so I can't shortcut my way Thora and affinity. After a bit more standard magecraft practice I used structural grasp on another textbook and managed to analyze it in 40 minutes. The acquisition of knowledge has expanded your mind and as a result your intelligence has increased by 2. I then went to sleep at 9 p.m. after another round of exhausting my mana and doing the small amount of homework I had, which was pretty easy due to my current int. HP and SP are fully restored. I woke up at 5 a.m. sharp and went straight out into the garden, making a projected Baken and did the usual alteration and reinforcement. I then grinded the heck out of dual wielding and magecraft. Come to think of it I don't feel drowsy at all even. I also don't even remember having any dreams that night. But I suppose that's not important for now. I just thought of an idea that might very well boost my end and maybe my STR by a lot, but that sort of training can't be done around people. Additionally, I need to stock up on a lot of recovery items, preferably lots of cheap and weak ones for it to work. I worked out till about 6:20 a.m., took a shower, got ready for school, ate breakfast, collected some food money from my parents, took a repeat of the quest from yesterday when it popped up to arrive at school, then ran to school at top speed. This time I got 80 plus 10 EXP from the quest when I reached the school. Seems like it adds another base 10 express per level 1 have. Not complaining about easy express even if it doesn't scale well. One key thing I noticed about quests is that they never come up before I make a decision. In fact, they always come up after I make a decision on what to do, which I believe is really important since it sort of proves that my power is not controlling my decisions by creating incentives, but rather it rewards me for going through with the choices I make. I was earlier than I was last time and I so happened to see the student council president while I was walking towards my classroom, which reminded me I had to solve the mystery behind why the question I had listed her name with a question mark. Structural grasp had a current range of 1 meter, so I used observe as usual. Name: Suna Shitori. Age: 16, Latvian Laches, 18 EXP, 502,750. Title: Student Council President. Affiliation: Kuo Student Council President. Race: Human. HP: 990/990 of a megapixel, 4200 STR, 35. End: 33 AGI, 18 INT, 61 WIS, 54 MAG, 201 LUK, 22. Hell. Not wanting to draw attention, I try to imitate the movements of true assassin from FSN and quietly slip through everyone and sat in my desk. First things first, Suna Shitori is not human. Her mag stats are way beyond average to say the least, and even then her physical stats are way above the average human. The question marks on her title, name, race, and affiliation all but confirms I'm not dealing with a human. If the supernatural exits in this school, then I have to assume that there are more. Now, logically the supernatural will group together with their allies, so I will first assume that everyone in the student council might either not be human or are working with them. Of course, I will not limit my suspicions to the student council alone. After all, there is definitely one school club that has always been the topic of rumors and discussion, and it's also the most likely club to be related to supernatural dealings. The Occult Research Club headed by Rias Gremory and Himejima Akeno. From now on until I get strong enough to annihilate several people of Suna Kaichu's level at once, I will avoid all contact with them as much as possible. When contact is avoidable, I must give them a good but not exceptional impression. I don't want them to think I'm anything above ordinary. It looks like I have to reduce the time I spend at school to avoid any chance of them noticing anything about me. Also, from my experience from the Fate franchise, I have to use observe at any animal that I think might be following me, in case it's a familiar. Of course, I'm not being cocky that they might be interested in me, but considering my behaviors has changed drastically, I won't take any chances if even a bit more attention is drawn to me. I need to learn tracing as soon as possible. Even if I might never trace swords as good as the sword incarnate, just being able to trace 70% of the skill and power of noble phantasms will be more than enough. Based on my calculations, if the servant parameter rules consider the normal value to be 1, and if I were to take a conservative estimate of a stat of 15 STR, for example, to be of normal value, then a traced STR of E rank will be at 150 STR points, assuming the strength receives no downgrade. Whatever they are not human. As such, Kanzhou and Bakuya would be most effective due to their anti-monster traits. Even if it's degraded, every bit helps. I spend the rest of the time before homeroom thinking of more plans to accelerate my training. There's just so much I have to just to survive. To think I even thought for a moment I would have the time to grind leisurely. I managed to concentrate in class but also multitask analyzing other textbooks while listening. My increased int helps me to learn from both sources fairly well. I also spent the lunchtime studying. I can't risk using Magecraft as school any longer, and it's too dangerous if they can sense magic like that. I'm confident structural grasp can be used as long as I'm not near them, as it only affects me and the desired object. Analyzing a textbook on averages gives me about 2 int, although it has decreased to 1 int after the second book today. I also got 1 int from listening in all the classes. I analyzed 5 books today, reaching a total of 8 int today. However, I can't rest now. I have to get the other Bakken from the store and think of a way to bring them around besides using my inventory. My inventory can store them fine, but it will be suspicious to say the least if 2 Bakkens came up from thin air. As long as I have a long empty bag, I can pretend to withdraw both Bakkens from it while in actuality I'm taking it out from my inventory. Yes, that would be a decent strategy. In any case, I have to accelerate my plans. I used whatever money I had left over and bought as much chocolate bars as I could from a convenience store. It will probably be good for at least 15 to 18 rounds of what I'm going to go through. The reason why I bought the chocolate bars is because for whatever reason they heal 25% of my health and it's very efficient as a healing item for its price. Instead of heading home, I scouted an abandoned warehouse, whilst ensuring there was no living beings in sight or nearby. I walked up to the back of the warehouse and stood in front of a concrete wall. I opened a chocolate bar but set it down on the ground a meter to the left of me. I then took one of the martial arts stances from Dragon Ball Z, specifically the Turtle School where Goku learned from Master Roshi. Then I punched the wall with my fist as hard as I could. ARRRHHHHHGGGGG. I resisted the urge to swear because swearing can be effective in reducing pain, which is not what I wanted. I then punched with my left hand. Similar, not just had the impact on my fist caused me pain, but also the recoil caused my elbows and shoulders to be damaged as well. I kept punching and punching till my hands were bloody and I was sure the bones in my hands were broken. It was the most agonizing experience I had so far. Of course I knew it won't be because I had a lot worse in mind. After I saw that my HP had fallen to 100, I stopped and ate the chocolate bar on the ground, which was more difficult to do considering I could barely use my hands. Once the chocolate bar was consumed, I recovered 35 HP, bring my HP to near full again. My hands, which were damaged before, had completely healed and reorganized itself, same with my bones and muscles. Due to your bones and muscles being damaged and repaired after training, your body has rebuilt them stronger. Increased in end by 3 and STR by 1. Due to resisting immense amounts of agony, taking physical damage, using proper martial arts and healing quickly, you have gained 4 new skills. Pain resistance. Passive, LVL.6, 100 EXP, 49% description. A skill that allows the user resist the effects of pain, does not reduce pain, but reduces any negative effects of pain. Higher levels allow for more pain before negative physical and mental effects set in. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in end by 3, physical resistance. Passive, LVL.4, 100 EXP, 76%. Description. A skill that reduces the amount of physical damage taken. Decrease in physical damage by 11.5%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in STR and end by 2, basic martial arts. Passive, LVL.2, 100 EXP, 56%. Description. A skill that increases the effectiveness of fighting with weapons and without weapons. Increase in damage when using weapons by 11%. Increase in damage when not using weapons by 22%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in STR and AGI by 1, regeneration. Passive, LVL.2, 100 EXP, 22%. Description. Your body has the experience of regenerating quickly, granting you a regeneration factor. Increase in HP regeneration per minute by 1.1%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in end by 0.5, just as planned. Oh crap, I have got to stop smiling like Kira to myself. Martial artists have often broken the bones in their fists by a bit before letting them heal. The human body will adapt to the need for stronger bones and thus rebuild those fists stronger. But I can take this training to its extremes. I can heal all damage as long as my HP is recovered. Thus as long I can not only afford to break my bones to a greater extent but also damage my own muscles and have them both be rebuilt stronger. It goes without saying I intend to do this with my legs as well. The only thing that did not go as planned but was a pleasant surprise was the regeneration skill. My natural regeneration was already at 1% per minute, which I personally thought was pretty unbalanced for real life, but I'm not complaining, especially when there are people with crazy power levels out there. I should use up a bit of mana practicing some magecraft first for efficiency before going back to training. After that it was about another 2 hours of pure agony. I smashed my fists, legs, chest, knees, shoulders and even my head at the wall. Thankfully chocolate bars can heal concussions and pretty much all my injuries. With the increases in end I had my HP also increased drastically, which made the chocolate bars even more effective and allowed me to damage myself further. When it was all over I had a total of 30 END, 15 STR and 10 AGI gained. It was insane. But what I did was insane, so it's only natural I ended up with insane rewards too. Including the skills I had trained up, my endurance is several times that of an average human. Seems like damaging my leg muscles and rebuilding them stronger increased my AGI. I'm pretty sure damaging my arm muscles also helped improve my arm speed. All in all, a satisfactory training period. Now I at least have the speed to keep up with Suna, but I'm pretty sure there will be supernatural creatures that can move many times than that of humans, so I have to find a way to boost my speed further. I scouted the area which, structural grasp, and, observe, and based on the descriptions and history I can safely say that no one bore witness to what I had subjected myself to. Since I had some time I tried to create the skill, ID create. Whilst it failed again, this time another pop-up window appeared. You need to use at least 300 mana and 25 int to create a stable ID. Well, lucky me, it seems that I have enough points along with the bonus mag I have from skills to do just that. I dump all my 15 points into mag, bringing my base to 20, and along with my additional mag bonuses from skills left me just enough mana to create it. Similarly, my int with the bonuses was just enough for me to use it. ID create. I shouted at the top of my lungs, then the sky color changed to a dark purple and I knew it worked. ID create. Active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 57% MP cost, 200. Description. A skill to create an instant dungeon. You can bring other in only if you wish to do so yourself. Current dungeons available. Zombies. I look around me and see that the buildings have not changed, but the atmosphere and sky has definitely changed to nighttime. From the corner of my eye I see 2 zombies approaching me. I used observe on them and saw that the 2 salaryman zombies' stats were too pathetic against me. Their endurance and strength was about 15, but their agility was about half a regular human. They were level 7 and 8 each. I had no mana left for any more spells. I took up 2 projected Bakans from my inventory since I don't want to risk damaging the originals yet. I took Archer's stance and went to attack them. As much as I would like to call it a fight, I can't really call it that since I annihilated them in about 20 seconds by smashing, slashing and stabbing them till they disappeared out of existence. Superior stats plus skill bonuses plus techniques plus dual wielding equals ownage. I saw some things drop of them but disappeared immediately, which I was sure was the auto loot function coming into effect. I checked my inventory and saw that I had obtained 2,000 yen, 2 low-quality soul shards and, wait, what? A Rolex? What the heck is a zombie salaryman doing with a Rolex? I regret nothing about increasing my luck. You have found a rare drop after a series of lucky events. Your luck has increased by 1. In any case, time to kill more zombies. I better not kill more than 25 to be on the safe side. I'm not strong enough to fight a legion zombie or whatever zombie boss spawn. I run into the abandoned warehouse and found 3 construction worker zombies. Why the heck are there construction worker zombies in a warehouse? I will never know, nor will I ever care. After wiping the floor with 2 of them, I found that my projected Bakan's durability had dropped to 1, so I did the only reasonable thing and threw both of them at the last zombie. The 2 throws stunned it and knocked it backwards. Before it regained stability, I punched it down to the ground and heel drop kicked its head, smashing its entire head beneath my foot. Crap, my shoes dirty. I hope some of the can zombies drop some usable shoes. I hope the smell of rotted brain, flesh and bones won't stick on me. I checked my inventory and found 300 yen, 3 low-quality soul shards and a crowbar added. I took out another 2 projected Bakans and went out to continue my service to the community by putting down the undead. After that I went and killed another 2 zombie salarymen and a zombie housewife. You have leveled up. Perfect timing. I get my HP and MP back when I level up, so now I won't have any mana problems for the immediate future. I love my luck. I soon ran into a zombie that looks like a middle schooler inflicted with chunibyo due to the fact he's dressed in all black leather and with too many belts in unnecessary places. To my surprise, the zombie chuni had the best stats out of the zombies so far. Boss name. Dark Flame Master Zombie, Miniboss, LVL, 14. Race. Zombie HP, 800 800ths of a megapixel, 300 300ths STR, 15 END, 20. AGI, 15 INT, 11 WIS, 4 MAG, 26 LUK, 8 Description. Killed at the height of his chunibyo diseased by annoyed classmates. His deep resentment combined with his desire for otherworldly power has resurrected him with all that he could ever wanted. At the cost of his humanity. This is an opponent I can't hold back against. His AGI is close to mine and he has decent stats all around. Plus that sword of his gives me the creeps. I used observe on the sword, which has too many edges to be as practical as possible. Blade of the Dark Flame Master. Rank D. Durability 333 333rds ATK 222. Description. A blade from the darkest and blackest metals forged from the depths of an active volcano. made specifically to channel dark flame magic. Cursed to erode the sanity of the wielder in exchange for power. How the hell did a middle schooler get such an edgy weapon like that? I can't get hit. No matter what, I can't get hit by that thing. The good news is the zombie Chuni doesn't have the strength to swing the large sword quickly, so I should be able to dodge it. I just have to weave in and out of his range and wear it down, since the sword will slow him down. After about 5 minutes of dashing in and out whacking him with my projected bokkens, I had brought its HP down to a quarter without having a close call. Suddenly a dark flame erupted from within the zombie and engulfed it, and within a second the zombie looked more powerful than ever. His eyes were replaced with black flames with glowing red pupils, his entire body radiated dark flames, and his sword began to emit dark miasma. I quickly used Observe to check what's going on. Boss name: Awakened Dark Flame Master Zombie, Miniboss. LVL 15 Race, Zombie HP, 1000 1000ths of a megapixel, STR, 60. End. 30 AGI, 20 INT, 1 WIS, 1 MAG, 60 LUK, 1. Description: Killed at the height of his chunibyo disease by annoyed classmates, his deep resentment combined with his desire for otherworldly power has resurrected him with all that he could ever wanted. At the cost of his humanity. And now he has decided to use that power. I'm fucked. I turned and ran as fast as I could. Fortunately, he didn't start chasing me, but instead he was walking slowly towards me. I don't know why he's walking instead of chasing me. My best guess is whatever leftover desire to be an edgy dark flame master is probably making him walk slowly towards me just because it's badass and it know it. I should have learned some kind of super finisher before I took on a mini-boss. There's no way I can stay near it without being burned to death in a matter of seconds. I don't have time to experiment with ID escape. Nor do I currently have a weapon that can finish this fight in one go. If I don't have any weapons and skills to defeat it, then imagine something that can defeat it. Hey, thanks Archer. My fiction adaptation modifies fictional knowledge I gain from works of fiction into something usable in this world. Needless to say, that applies to the weapon history and power of noble phantasms. In fact, all the gaps I had about the history of the noble phantasms that analyzed by the two Emias had become my own knowledge. So, there's only one thing I can do now besides running away, which I doubt I can. It's a zombie. I need a holy blade, and Excalibur is out of the question even if this world has the materials, because I still don't have phi magic to reproduce it. I won't have time to trace more than one weapon, especially not when it's my first time tracing. I have a minute before he gets in range, assuming he keeps walking at that pace. Judging the concept of creation, the symbol of a king. Hypothesizing the basic structure, a dazzling sword with golden inscriptions. Duplicating the composition material, the finest steel blade adorned with gold. Imitating the skill of its making, no wasted movement in its crafting. Sympathizing with the experience of its growth, a symbol of authority pulled from stone. Reproducing the accumulated years, shattered at the moment the rules of chivalry were broken. Excelling every manufacturing process. 10 meters away from me, I dashed as quickly as I could, pouring as much mana as I could into the blade and brought it down on my enemy. Perhaps it was luck that he could not defend against it, perhaps its decrease in sanity prevented it from defending itself, and maybe it stood still in awe of the golden light from the blade. The reasons why didn't matter anymore, for it was gone. With one swing the holy sword I wielded vanquished the wielder of the dark flames. I stood in the burnt surroundings where my enemy once stood and looked at the sword. I already knew it was beautiful. Ever since the knowledge from the game went into my head, I knew that this sword's beauty was dazzling. Because of the combined memories of Saber, Shuru and Archer, I was able to make the blade as perfect as it could be. Even if it was my first time tracing, there was no way I could make a mistake in making this blade. Caliburn. Golden Sword of the Victorious, rank A+ durability, 1000 ATK, 11,000. Description: The holy sword that is the symbol of the king, pulled from the stone of appointment by King Arthur under the guidance of Merlin. With the words, "Whoso pulleth out this sword of this stone is rightwise king of all England," engraved in a golden inscription on its hilt, it became the symbol of England's king of knights once it was pulled from the stone. Element: Holy duration. Permanent. It was so beautiful, not even the various pop-up screens telling me of the new skills and the levels ups I had could stop me from admiring it. I soon heard a loud roar and a giant zombie started moving towards me slowly. But I honestly could care less. I mean, I'm not done admiring this blade. Whatever this nuisance of a giant zombie was, I just charged straight at it and slashed at it with Caliburn until it fell. Then I went back to admiring the blade. After about another 10 minutes of touching the full length of my blade and admiring it, I decide to get back to business. Only to realize my business was over. All the zombies were gone, and somehow I annihilated the Legion zombie with Caliburn so quickly I didn't even notice. Against creatures weak against the holy element, this is overpowered. Heck, even its attack power is overpowered. I can only hypothesize 2 reasons why the blade turned out so perfect. The first was that the gap of my knowledge from Caliburn was filled by the fiction adaptation ability. The second is that I live in an age of magic and where Gaia's influence is weaker, which would explain why Caliburn's existence seemed to be permanent as well. I really should just check out what I got from those fights. Oh crap. What time is it? I check my cell phone and it says 8 p.m. Well shit. Since I leveled up several times, my mana is at max, so it's about time I try to make ID escape. Surprisingly, it was easy to get out. I ignored the screens telling me about all the stats and skills I've gained and instead ran back home as quickly as I could. I basically said something along the lines of I was taking a long jog, but then I saw a dying dog and I stayed with it till it died before burying it in some park. I totally ripped that excuse of parasite. After eating dinner and talking with my parents, I went up to my room in order to sort out all that had happened. The first major thing besides me leveling up from 6 to 18 was that I got a total of 5 STR, 6 AGI, 1 int and 2 WIS from apparently moving my body past its limits while holding Caliburn and making decisions. It would seem the only reason why I did not burn out from drawing from the experience of the blade and moving beyond my body's capability was because I leveled up right after I used them to defeat each boss. After which my muscles were regenerated stronger than ever. The next thing was that I had to deal with having an overpowered holy sword in my inventory. I could potentially use it decimate whatever supernatural beings at the school, but then again I should not make any rash decisions. They might know people a lot stronger for all I knew. There's also no guarantee that they are evil beings. I mean, Suna Kaichu is strict but not evil, plus she's pretty. Wait. Did I just consider killing every supernatural being at my school indiscriminately so easily? I can't believe the thought of killing everyone that pose a threat came so naturally to me. Maybe I need a break from training and grinding in order to sort myself out. Basically, keeping it secret is top priority. I should also avoid using Caliburn as I can't afford to be over-reliant on it and that it will only carry me so far. I need to raise my base stats a lot more before I can even consider using it without it forcing my body to move beyond what it can. Next is the items I got. I gained a total of 307,200 yen from that run, which makes me pretty well off for a high school student, I think. I got a Rolex Daytona Black watch, a crowbar and a kitchen knife from the normal zombies. I managed to get a skill book to learn Dark Flames, and the Blade of the Dark Flame Master, from defeating the mini-boss. And the giant zombie boss gave me a skill book to learn Life Drain, and a ragged gray cloak called Cloak of Lost Souls. Furthermore, I ended up with 5 soul shards, 1 medium soul stone and 1 large soul stone. The cloak's stats were pretty good. Cloak of Lost Souls, rank, E plus durability, 180 180th def, 40 magdef, 200. Description. Houses the lost soul's desire for life. The cloak's main strength is not its physical defenses but rather its defenses against magic. If the magic used is either closely related to life or nature, the cloak will absorb a portion of it and turn it into MP for its owner. I seem to be able to learn both skills, which I did, but I will review the skill details later. Life Drain could possibly be key in understanding how to manipulate life energy, and should help me develop some ki and chakra skills. Next, I have to deal with titles I got, apparently from learning Dark Flames, and defeating the Dark Flame Master zombie with Caliburn. I got 2 titles. Defeating the Legion zombie gave another title. Inheritor of the Dark Flames. You killed it, you bought it. Plus 50% flame resistance, plus 50% demonic resistance, plus 100% damage from dark flame techniques. Carrier of the King's Wool. You have wielded King Arthur's treasured symbol of authority. Plus kingly aura, low. Liberator of Souls. The souls that you have freed have thanked you and given you their blessing. Plus 10, luck. I chose to set Liberator of Souls. Since the first one is not currently needed, I will have to pass on using Carrier of the King's Wool for now, since the aura might attract unnecessary attention. And now the tough bit, I have to make sense of my skills. Skill list. Gamer's Mind. Passive, description. Allows the user to calmly and logically think things through in most circumstances. Allows a peaceful state of mind. Immunity to psychological and mental status effects. Gamer's body. Default, passive, description. Grants a body that allows for the user to live the real world like a game. Pain from damage does not last after a few seconds. Sleeping restores HP, MP and heals all temporary status effects. Variants. Mostly normal body, locked. Beginner's boost, passive. Description. Allows the user to quickly gain and level skills and traits that were present before the acquisition of the power of the gamer to their appropriate levels. Fiction adaptation. Passive, description. This ability allows you to adapt fictional knowledge and skills to your life and to use them as if they were truths. CG stance. Passive, LVL.5, 100 EXP. 11% description. A stance which deliberately creates many openings. False openings are created for the sake of parrying or dodging blows to those very openings. Main purpose of stance is for use in combat against opponents stronger than oneself. When taking this stance you receive the following bonuses. Increase in AGI and STR by 15% when parrying. You passively gain the following bonuses when taking or not taking this stance. Increase in AGI and WIS by 5%. Eye of the Mind. Passive, LVL.4, 100 EXP, 5%. Description. A heightened capability for observation, refined through experience. Allows for calm analysis in danger. Effects improve as skill level, battle experience, intelligence and wisdom increase. Sword Mastery. Passive, LVL.10, 100 EXP, 2% description. A skill that allows the user to freely wield swords. Sword Mastery is obtained through continuous usage of swords. Increase in damage when using swords by 55%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in STR and AGI by 5. Dual Wielding Mastery. Passive, LVL.8, 100 EXP, 21%. Description. A skill that allows the user to use two weapons better. Dual Wielding Mastery is obtained through continuous usage of two swords in each hand. Increase in damage when using dual wielding by 45%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in STR and AGI by 4. Deception. Passive, LVL.8, 100 EXP, 4%. Description. An ability to deceive others about your intentions and actions through the use of lies, half-truths and tricks. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in int and WIS by 4. Mana usage. Passive, LVL.11, 100 EXP, 96%. Description. The ability to freely use mana. Control increases with int and skill level. Having more mana would make it more difficult to control mana at a lower level. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 10.5. Observe. Active, LVL.12, 100 EXP, 7% MP cost, 1. Description. A skill to observe objects, situations, and beings that allowing the user to quickly gather information. The higher the skill, the greater the data obtained. The greater the amount of knowledge and insight the user has, the more information can be displayed. At level 10, the skill comments on what is observed. Also affected by int and WIS. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in int by 12. Nasuverse Affinity, passive. Description. An affinity that allows the user to freely use magecraft, magic and techniques from the Nasuverse. Effects may differ from the Nasuverse based on the rules of your current world. Kishi-verse Affinity, passive. Description. An affinity that allows the user to freely use ninjutsu, fuinjutsu, taijutsu and whatever else from the Kishi-verse. Effects may differ from the Kishi-verse based on the rules of your current world. Kubo-verse Affinity, passive. Description. An affinity that allows the user to freely use spirit techniques, hollow techniques, Quincy techniques and whatever else Kubo makes up on the go from the Kubo-verse. Effects may differ from the Kubo-verse based on the rules of your current world in Kubo's trolling. Toriyama-verse Affinity, passive. Description. An affinity that allows the user to freely use ki attacks, martial arts and whatever magic from the Toriyama-verse. Effects may differ from the Toriyama-verse based on the rules of your current world. Pain Resistance. Passive, LVL.15, 100 EXP, 9% description. A skill that allows the user resist the effects of pain, does not reduce pain, but reduces any negative effects of pain. Higher levels allow for more pain before negative physical and mental effects set in. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in end by 7.5, physical resistance. Passive, LVL.10, 100 EXP, 61%. Description: a skill that reduces the amount of physical damage taken. Decrease in physical damage by 14.5%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in STR and end by 5. Basic martial arts. Passive, LVL.6, 100 EXP, 51%. Description: a skill that increases the effectiveness of fighting with weapons and without weapons. Increase in damage when using weapons by 15%. Increase in damage when not using weapons by 30%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in STR and AGI by 3. Regeneration. Passive, LVL.8, 100 EXP, 22%. Description: your body has the experience of regenerating quickly, granting you a regeneration factor. Increase in HP regeneration per minute by 1.7%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in end by 4. ID create. Active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 57% MP cost, 200. Description: a skill to create an instant dungeon. You can bring other in only if you wish to do so yourself. Current dungeons available. Zombies. ID escape. Active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 30% MP cost, 50. Description: a skill to escape from an instant dungeon. Structural grasp. Active, LVL.12, 100 EXP, 61% MP cost, 3. Description: a magecraft that allows the user to analyze the contents, structure and purpose of the item. As the level increase, more information can be gained and at a quicker rate. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 2.4, and increase in int by 6. Reinforcement. Active, LVL.12, 100 EXP, 13% MP cost, depends on item. Description: a magecraft that allows the strengthening of the composition of the materials that make up an object to its fullest. Bonus to durability and power of reinforced object, 65% for 6 hours. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 2.4, alteration. Active, LVL.12, 100 EXP, 23% MP cost, 3. Description: a magecraft that allows to alter the qualities and shape of the object. Permanent alteration changes the physical structure and temporary alterations adds a quality to the object. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 1.2, gradation air. Active, LVL.12, 100 EXP, 36% MP cost, 5. Description: a magecraft that allows the materialization of an object in accordance to the caster's imagination through mana. Like its name, the object will eventually fade away to nothing, where air is an allusion to nothing. Greater consistency equals greater strength and duration. Basic duration of projection, 12 hours. Basic strength of projection, 36%. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in int by 6. Tracing. Active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 80% MP cost, 10. Description: Emiyashiru's self-created magecraft that allows the materialization of an object through the use of 7 steps to completely replicate everything from the concept of creation to the entirety of its existence. Tracing speed increases with skill level and int. Duration of traced object. Varies. Strength of traced object, 100% unless there is a lack of information or materials cannot be recreated. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 1. Mana infusion. Active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 80% MP cost, however much you are willing. Description: infuses mana into an object, increasing its power or to store power within it for later use. Current max rate of infusion, 50 mana per second. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 1. Dark flames. Active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 0% MP cost, 100. Description: summons 1 ball of dark flames. The flames are hotter than the average flame and cannot be put out by water. To get rid of dark flames, a burst of mana is needed. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 1. Life drain. Active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 0% MP cost, 10. Description. Allows you to drain the life out of the target. Amount drained depends on your mag in relation to theirs. Range, melee. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 1. Detect bloodlust. Passive, LVL.5, 100 EXP, 11%. Description. An ability to detect bloodlust directed at you. Range increases by 3 meters per level. Current range. 17 meters. Failburst stream. Active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 20% MP cost, 0 or 12. Description. A cool 6-hit sword skill, a failed version of Starburst stream. Still pretty cool. Increases slashing speed by 50%. Scales with AGI and STR. Performing the skill manually will cost no MP, using MP will force the skill to activate with increased power and speed. Manual. Average 60% DMG per hit MP, average 85% DMG per hit. Starburst stream, anime version, active, LVL.7, 100 EXP, 0% MP cost, 0 or 40. Description. A too cool for you 21-hit high-speed dual blade skill. Epitome of the rule of cool, just using it triples your slashing speed. Excessive use will damage to the arms. Scales with AGI and STR. Performing the skill manually will cost no MP, using MP will force the skill to activate with increased power and speed. Manual. Average 82% DMG per hit MP, average 107% DMG per hit. And finally, status, name, Hyodo Issei age, 16. LVL. 18 EXP, 116 2575 title, none affiliation, perverted trio. Race. Human HP, 1070-1070 region, 23.8 per minute. MP. 445-445 region, 3.32 per minute STR, 42, 25 plus 17. End. 53.5, 37 plus 16.5, AGI, 36, 21 plus 12, int, 30.7, 14 plus 26.7. WIS. 16.6, 12 plus 4.6, mag, 40.5, 20 plus 20.5, luck, 22, 12 plus 10. Points. 60 yen. 307200. I have quite a good amount of points, and if it's anything like the gamer, I should get bonus skills if I get my base stats to 50. In any case, I made huge progress in strength for my second day, but my first response to the sight of someone stronger to me was to find the strength to be able to annihilate them. That is definitely not normal of me. I think that gamer's mind might be doing more than just keeping me calm. For all I know, it might be turning my mentality to that of a typical gamer. In other words, when I encounter someone strong, I will grind to destroy them safely. If I encountered monsters or enemies, I would destroy them mercilessly, like when I stomped on the zombie's head. I felt hesitation from fighting. I felt nothing but the desire to attain benefits. In fact, I dare say I quite enjoyed the violence, crushing my enemies, the thrill of fighting, and the attainment of strength. I have not been normal at all for the past 2 days, not like I want to be ordinary, but this is getting out of hand. If I became some insane grinding machine every day, I'm sure I could even get my stats at the level of an average heroic spirit, no problem. But would I be happy for myself if I subjected myself to gruesome training and life and death situations daily? Would my parents be happy to find out that their son had thrown away the joy of all the little things in life for the joys of power? So far I've been rushing to take advantage of every single aspect of my ability, but it's not like I'm trying to be some war god. I'm not trying to become a hero, or at least not yet. I think I need some time just to find a right balance. I want to live a life I can be proud of, not throw away my life to satisfy my pride and desires. I want to live a full life, but full does not equate busy. I don't think there's anything wrong with grinding skills and stats, but I think I should work hard and play hard. I mean, with my int, studying is honestly not a problem now, and I could always just dump some points into it to make myself a genius. Okay, it's decided. I will grind some skills and all, but I won't fight anything unless necessary until the weekend. I have some decent amount of cash. Might as well get a new haircut, clothes, some manga which I could also learn some skills from. Maybe have a bit of fun for the next few days. I mean, I would have memorized all the school material with just a couple more uses of structural grasp. Come to think of it, I also have to drop all my eki stuff off at Motohama and Matsuda's place. I also have to buy the Fate Zero goods. Guess I will do that tomorrow, then marathon it. Then I could also copy some new Noble Phantasms. Ah, screw it, I'm hitting the sack early. Today was tiring enough. I finished all my assignments and studied a few textbooks before turning of the lights. And then I turned it back on and traced Caliburn's scabbard. After which I put the sword in its rightful scabbard before finally going to bed, caressing my lovely sword as I slept. A.N. Thank you for you encouraging reviews. I do plan on giving Issei more skills from other franchises. But the purpose of this chapter was to ensure that Issei does not become a soulless grinding machine for the sake of living a full life. While I want Issei to be serious about life, that also means he has to be serious about having fun without going back to his old ways. So right now he's trying to think of enjoying life without it being at the expense of the female population. I might give Issei's archer's haircut, but not now. I might save that for a joke at his expense in the future. Hint. Rias is a Japanophile, otaku, type moon fan? I plan to do some light time skips to Issei's finals, then to the spring break, before the Asia arc begins. At this point I'm torn between my original idea of him recruiting Kiryu, Motohama and Matsuda into his grinding team and make Super Kuo Humans faction, and the idea of Issei being getting too into the idea of being too strong on his own. Let me know what you guys think. By the way, I'm using MapleStory's Express Progression for now, but that will change at the higher levels. I have exams coming up, and I'm mainly writing when I'm in the mood, but I'll try to get a chapter once every 5 days or a week. The reason why I wrote this quite quick was to give you guys a direction of where the plot will be heading to. Still trying to find out who to pair him with. Please don't say Issei's op, because considering the certain Mao Shouju's capability to wipe out a country and Excalibur being able to wipe out thousands of soldiers, Issei won't be op till he find a way to learn DBZ stuff. Previous CH2 of 38. Next, Chapter 3, Makeovers and Changes. Tell a lie long enough and it becomes the truth, words by a certain Nazi propaganda minister. How much more so if you live a lie long enough that it becomes your very being? While it's an interesting question I will definitely have to address in the long-term plans of my life. Right now the quote came to mind because I'm having problems deciding on what kind of haircut I wanted to get. I mean, I really shouldn't go for a bad boy haircut. I mean, those kind of characters tend to be the NTR kind, and that never ends well. Likewise, I can't go for a good boy haircut because that's not who I am at all. It might fool others, but I really don't feel like kidding myself at this point. I considered getting a hairstyle like Aizen, but I don't have the looks to make it work. In the end I picked the hairstyle that gave emo look serious yet not too edgy. I didn't know how to really describe the hairstyle I wanted, so I just showed the hairstylist a picture of Hijikata Toshiro from Gintama. Might as well experiment. If it doesn't suit me in the end I can always grow my hair back and get a different style before the start of my second year. The haircut was a bit pricey, but I have money, who cares? I barely managed to get 7 int back at school today, and that was after listening in class while using structural grasp on textbooks, reference books and exercise books. In addition to using it on books in the library. The only books that could give me skills at this point was a couple fictional works and some martial arts books, although apparently the martial arts books will simply add on to my current, basic martial arts book as new knowledge and express, so for now I will avoid buying those. In any case, today is the kind of day I would like to call inter-chapter shopping spree. In games, after a long chapter of traveling to a new town or after a boss fight, there tends to be a tendency for players to go on a shopping spree, do side quests, learn more about the world and play minigames. Which is what I intend to do today, tomorrow Thursday and the Friday after tomorrow. Of course that doesn't mean I'm slacking too much on using skills as such. Just this morning I went ahead and traced Gilgamesh's overpowered golden armor, Guy Bolg, Guy Buddha, Guy Dirg, Kalidbolg, Ro Ayaz, Harp, for the any immortal beings that might randomly annoy me, and lots of Kanzaos and Bakuyas. I stuffed them all in my inventory before leaving for school. But, I digress. Checking my shopping list that I made before leaving the house. Next up is clothes. Which was an easy decision since I wanted to look serious and stuff. So I went to get a dark gray trench coat and a black suit a la Magus Killer style. Which I immediately equipped and stored my uniform once I found a private spot. Next on the lists is guns. Wait a minute, how am I supposed to get guns again? I know once I get the Fate Zero novels and BDs tracing the Thompson Contender and the Walter WA 2000 won't be a problem, but I need more guns than that. Oh wait, the police station. I can just use structural grasp. On the guns they keep next to them and on the confiscated weapons I'm sure they keep there. Of course there's the issue of getting in and out those areas without being detected. If only there was some noble phantasm that could make me invisible. I'm sure Gilgamesh had something like that, but Gil, of course. Shota Gil used the Hades cap in the recent chapter's Fate, Collide Prisma Ilia. If it were the old me I would definitely use it to peek, but I digress once again. You have made a sound strategy and as a result your wisdom has increased by 1. Damn it UFO table, my wallet, almost a third of my money gone just like that after buying both Blu-ray sets. Thankfully the Prisma Ilia manga was cheaper. I went ahead and learned the stuff and to my surprise I learned a new skill. Mana Drain. Active, LVL.1, 100 EXP, 0% MP cost, 1. Description. Allows you to drain the mana out of the target by kissing them. Amount drained depends on your mag in relation to theirs, skill level and your skill at kissing. Range, literally 0. You passively gain the following bonuses from acquiring the skill. Increase in mag by 1. I'm really not going to get any practice on this anytime soon, am I? Never mind, free mag, won't complain. Well whatever, I put on my newly traced Hades cap and went on my merry way. After spending about an hour analyzing weapons, I left for the arcade where int plus luck plus whiz equals guaranteed prize on my second try on crane games and other games like that. I ended up leaving with a game console, a new phone, a Maki figurine and 3 plushies. I made sure to quickly store the prizes after I got them so the staff won't shoo me away from winning too much. I gave a call to my parents asking them if I can eat out alone tonight, which they said no problem to. Thus I ended up at a yakiniku store, buying up lots of meat including a bit of Wagyu and Kobe beef, because I can. Spent about 20,000 yen, I have no regrets. Alright, maybe my only regret is that I ate alone. I mean seriously, who eats yakiniku alone? Now that I have alienated myself from Motohama and Matsuda, I'm hated by most of the school. My only other friends moved away when I was young and I can't tell my parents about my power yet. I essentially have no one I can trust fully. I have no real friends. That's actually feels pretty sad. I decided to sit on a swing at an empty park and be all emo for about 5 minutes before deciding to do a bit of reflection and planning. Since my int was pretty shit before, this also meant my memory was pretty shit. However, just because the mind does not remember, does not mean the body doesn't. Specifically, if I used structural grasp on myself, I should be able to see all my memories again and kind of relive my life in a moment. I close my eyes and look into myself. I began from where I was born to when I was a kid playing with my childhood friend who moved away. Wait a minute, what the hell, I thought she was a he. How can I be that dumb not to notice? I can't believe I made a harem protagonist mistake of thinking a childhood friend was a boy while he was actually a girl. Baka issei, no wonder you don't have friends. Wait a moment. What's with that old European sword again? I remember that I thought that was a fake sword, but no, it's a holy sword. I used structural grasp on the sword in my memories. I couldn't get all the details, but I could tell its name was Excalibur Mimic and its rank was D+. An overall insult to the Excalibur I know, but then again the Excalibur I know was from a game and anime, so I shouldn't compare it with the Excalibur of this world. The rest of my history was pretty unremarkable other than the past few days. Now the spell is working on my structural composition when suddenly I notice something weird in my left arm. But I can't seem to analyze it with structural grasp. But from what I can tell, it's not dangerous to my life, at least. I decide to let it slide for now. After all, I decide to have a little fun for the next 2 days as well. Although to be safe, I might just want to do something like implant Avalon in me, just in case the thing might try to eat me from the inside like Predator. I will work on it when I get home tonight. Better safe than sorry. I still haven't decided on what to do about getting friends. If this were Persona 4, this would be so much easier. Alas, I'm not a blank slate and I unfortunately have a bad reputation. So maybe I should work on the reputation thing as a start. First, I have to prioritize apologizing to the girls whose dignity I have damaged. I think my affiliation with the perverted trio will disappear in time naturally, so I won't worry about that. I have to think carefully of what kind of person I want others to see me as. For now I will just act as myself. Who knows, maybe some people actually like the serious loner type of guy. Since I got the new haircut, it might end up convincing some people I've changed. Well, it's late. I already spent an hour in this park. Time to get home to finish homework, implant Avalon, and with my mana I should be able to maybe use ID create twice. although I may have to wait a bit to regenerate enough to escape the second time. You have made series of thoughtful choices and as a result your wisdom has increased by 1. Come to think of it, I haven't received any quest lately, and this morning weirdly enough did not see the get to school on time quest. If I had to compare the experiences then I'm certain that I was a lot less keen on getting to school on time. If I had to make a deduction there's a possibility that quests only appear if I have a strong desire to go with it. Before I started to go home, I ran to both Matsuda's and Motohama's house to dump all the porn and eroges I had with them. All I had to do was say to their parents I wanted to talk to them a bit, then I took out the cardboard box I put in my inventory containing the stuff, and when they came I shoved it into their hands and said my goodbyes. Once I got home however, who are you? Both my parents screamed when they say me. I'm obviously your son. This is like the 7th time you asked me this week. I mean come on, seriously, can't they recognize their only child? Okay, to be fair a lot has happened in these 3 days, fair enough. What did you do to your hair and where did you get those clothes? Assuming you're issei of course, my dad questioned me. Firstly, I got a haircut on my own volition. Secondly, I happened to find a handbag on the floor and I went to the police station so that the owner could retrieve it from there. And just before I left the woman that owned the handbag entered the police station, saw me giving the police her bag, thanked me, and insisted I let her get me some new clothes. And yes, she was very wealthy. Technically I went to the police station so I guess the whole thing as a while was a half-truth. Was she hot? My dad asked. My mom slapped him right after through. Yes. I answered. After that there were no further questions, which I guess meant that the excuses were accepted. While I was walking about I heard something along the lines of my mom wondering why I suddenly became an upstanding citizen. Implanting Avalon was surprisingly easy, since I simply copied how Karitsugu disassemble and reassemble Avalon into the body. So far, Avalon gives me an extra 1% HP regen per minute. In the end I decide to only use ID create and ID escape once, and instead I tried altering Kalidbog to Kalidbog 2 in order to start making broken phantasms, but whilst I got the shape right, I couldn't seem to add the extra properties, so I just threw it back into my inventories. So far the duration for any imperfect traced objects seem to around half a year, so I keep them in my inventory until I plan to retrace them to get them perfect. The only noble phantasms that I keep spares of is Kanzhou and Bakuya since I'm focused on dual wielding. I then finished the rest of my homework and studied a bit before going to sleep while stroking Caliburn as I slept. Thursday passed by uneventfully, and by that I mean I got about 5 INT from school, 1 mag from practicing magecraft. Some people were shocked to see my near haircut, but in the end the girls at least just thought I was trying to fool them into a false sense of security. Not like I cared. Once I exited the school I changed into my Magus Killer ensemble along with my Rolex and headed out into the city. In the end I spent the day touring the city for good ramen and bought some Katekyo Hitman Reborn volumes for use later. After which I managed to level up, ID create, to 3, which unlocked an empty dungeon and a ghost dungeon. I still did not have had any idea on what to spend my 60 stat points on, since I could solve practice questions for all subjects flawlessly by now. Friday began pretty normally, in fact it was pretty normal, and I gained 4 int and 1 wis during school time since I began to start solving Sudoku puzzles whilst in class. Multitasking is way too easy with the int I have. After school was done, I left school and changed into my outfit again at a dark corner in a slightly dodgy area 10 minutes away from the school. After exiting the corner and back onto the main road I noticed the typical anime event of a typical anime group of thugs surrounding and trying to drag a girl somewhere. I just did the only thing a typical average male anime protagonist did and confronted them. Sadly my definition of confrontation was not very typical of a normal male protagonist, as my idea of confrontation involved running at them at max speed, assaulting them all and knocking them all out within 15 seconds. Not the smartest move a person with a wis stat of my level should do in front of normal people. I guess I still have some bit of impulsiveness in me despite gamer's mind. After I realized the idiocy of what I've done I started praying that whoever the girl is she's not one of those supernatural creatures that might take an interest in me after this. I looked towards the girl that was surrounded and I was torn between thanking my luck that it was not a supernatural creature and also cursing my luck the girl had to be Kiryu Aika, who had an expression of shock on her face. I mean it's not like I have a problem with her. She's essentially Matsuda, Motohama and the old me minus all the bad parts. In other words, she's perverted but she doesn't harass anyone like we did, so basically she's a healthy pervert. The main problem is this is someone I'm acquainted with, so there's no way I can pass off as a stranger. Therefore, there is only one option. I must divert all attempts at the superhuman abilities of Shone and ask questions instead of answering. Well then I think we should the ambulance to pick them up. They were harassing you, right? Just tell them some stranger did this to them and left immediately, I said in calm tone before turning around to leave. Wait a minute, Hyodo. She called out to me while reaching her hand out, signaling for me to come closer. Well, it's not like I expected to get away scot-free. Wait, Baka. I'm being inconsiderate. I mean, she could have been hurt or scared. What was I thinking leaving her here with a bunch of bloodied and knocked out thugs? It's no wonder I don't have friends since I've been obsessing about keeping my secret that I have become so cold. Ah. Sorry. I wasn't being considerate of you. Are you hurt? Can you walk? Do you need me to carry you back to the school or back home? I quickly asked her as I turned around. She seemed slightly taken aback before regaining her composure. Well, they pushed me around a bit and I think they might have broken my arm, but the school is about 10 minutes away from here. We can get you treated in the infirmary. I cut her off mid-sentence. Then I swept her off her feet and bridle carried her back to the school while running. She protested a bit but relented when I said I'm quicker and that I had somewhere I wanted to be. We also will probably have to report this incident to the student council since they take any threat nearby the school seriously. I slowed down to the speed of a normal human once I reached near the school where there were more students. Sadly, it seemed my gray and black outfit seemed to draw attention. Once we were outside the infirmary, I begged her not to tell anyone of how I annihilated the thugs before leaving her to the nurse. It looks like my luck has finally took a turn for the worse when I ran into Suna Kaichu and another student council member. Care to explain why you're not in uniform and causing a commotion, Hyodo-san? Suna asked me. I quickly used observe to get a reading on them. Name: Suna Shitori, age 17, Latvian Laches, 18 exp, 552,750ths. Title: Student Council President, Affiliation: Kuo Student Council President. Race: Human, HP, 390 390ths of a megapixel, 2100 2100 STR, 15 END, 13. AGI, 16 INT, 62 WIS, 54 MAG, 80 LUK, 12 Description: Student Council President of Kuo Academy, strict and intelligent. Does not take matters lightly. Childhood friends and rivals with Rias Gremory, currently a second-year student. Emotions: curious, intrigued. Name: Genjiro Saji, age 16. LVL 9 EXP, 431,240 seconds. Title: Secretary, Affiliation, Kuo Student Council. Race: Human, HP, 480 480ths of a megapixel, 240 240ths STR, 19 END, 16. AGI, 18 INT, 9 WIS, 7 MAG, 8 LUK, 6 Description: Secretary of the Student Council. Impulsive at times. Perverted and lusts after the Suna Shitori, however he is extremely loyal. Currently a first-year student. Emotions: confused, jealous. It seems that my observe S level is high enough to ascertain their current emotional state. That will be useful for controlling the conversation. But seriously, Saji. She's just curious about a certain someone that caused a commotion and you're jealous. But that could be useful in getting me out of the conversation. I changed in a public restroom at the nearby park due to an appointment I have in the city, and I so happened to come across Kiryu-san being harassed by some thugs after changing my clothes. I merely bluffed my way to get the thugs to leave her alone, then carried her to the infirmary because it would have been quicker that way. I replied in a matter-of-fact tone, half-truths for the win. Thank you, Kotamine Kire. That is an acceptable explanation for why you are not in uniform, but I'm curious, Hyodo-san. How exactly did you of all people bluff a group of violent thugs? She asked curiously. The last part of the sentence was a bit insulting, not like I did not deserve it. You wound me, Kaichu. I mean, I'm well aware my reputation is unfavorable to say the least. But I would expect the benefit of the doubt would have been given to me, as for the past few days it has been evident that I have cut ties with a certain duo. Not only that, as I'm sure you have been aware that there has been no complaints about my behavior and I have been early to class every morning of the week. I would think that the possibility of me reforming my ways would have been entertained by someone that has shown so much care to every individual student. I avoided the question by taking advantage of the slight insult aimed at me. Whether or not it was deliberate did not change the fact it was a useful tool in steering the conversation away from what I do. Hey, what are you doing talking to Sona Kaichu like that? You can't expect people to trust a pervert like you. Saji shouted at me angrily, just as planned. I knew that he would take that as an insult to Sona's character and impulsively react against me. This will help me derail the conversation further. Saji, be quiet. I apologize for my secretary's outburst, Hyodo-san. He has just joined the student council and has only recently started work. Saji. According to the teacher's observations, Hyodo has been handing in work of an excellent standard for the entirety of this week and has been making equally excellent contributions in class. I would say we both should give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm sorry if you were hurt by my previous remarks. It would seem your past actions have clouded my judgment a little bit. I'm starting to feel a bit bad for Saji, however I can't afford to spare him now. Not at all. I myself should be the one to apologize. I'm sure my past actions has caused you a great amount of headaches, and for that I apologize. I'm currently finding a way to apologize to all the women in the schools whose dignity I have trampled on, although so far I have not came up with a plan yet. I replied apologetically towards her. It would seem you have changed for the better. Would you believe me if I said I would be in the top 10 for the final? If you keep up your pace perhaps. I will be sure not to disappoint you, Kaichu. Although I'm afraid I have to cut our chat short as I have to get to my appointment in town. Could I be excused, please? Yes, you may be excused. However, I'm still very curious on how you dealt with the thugs. I will expect that you could meet me in the student council room on another day. TCH, she didn't forget after all. As to be expected of one with such a high int and wis. Of course, Kaichu. Although instead of me meeting you, perhaps you will be interested in talking about it over dinner. I will be paying, of course. She seems to either be slightly surprised or amused at what I just said. Are you asking me out on a date, Hyodo-san? She replied with a smirk. It can be one if you so desire it to be. It would seem that we have gotten side-tracked again. It would seem so. Don't get into more trouble, Hyodo-san. And please forgive Saji's rudeness. I will make sure to discipline him later. As soon as he said that, Saji tensed up a bit, though he seemed a bit pleased. Not for long, Saji, not for long. Well then, I will be off then, Kaichu. As the president, you have my phone number on record. Give me any date and I will make suitable arrangements for our dinner together. Oh, and before I forget, may I suggest that when you discipline Saji you make sure his eyes are looking at your face instead of the rest of your body. I see Saji grinding his teeth at me. He's probably cursing me in his head. Your rage amuses me, Saji, although I still pity him. I left to exit the school immediately as I said that. It would seem that I have to cut my leisure time short. I have to learn some ranged magic attack like spinning mana arrow and energy bolt, in case my meeting with Suna Kaichu turns out to be an ambush. That way I can disrupt any ranged supporters. Saji seems like a melee fighter, so he's not a threat with his pathetic stats. I will have to learn 9 Lives Blade Works, Sabama Geshi, and Kakuyoku Sanren, triple linked crane wings, to prepare sound quick finisher moves if it turns into a fight. While I will prepare for a fight, I should work on a couple more excuses on how I bluffed the thugs, or why I lied about what I did. She will definitely ask Kiryu for details. I made the mistake of not telling Kiryu not to answer her about me beating up the thugs, instead only telling her to not mention anything out of the ordinary. What a blunder. Still, I think I have a lead to what Suna might be. Specifically, Saji accidentally pronounced Sona's name as Sona. While it's a slight change, it helped me formulate a hypothesis. On the assumption that her alias has only a slight deviation from her real name, then Shitori should also have only a slight deviation. Next, the observed information points her to having a close relationship with Rias Gremory, the top-ranked most beautiful woman in this school. Now, Gremory is one of the 72 pillars of the demons from the Ars Gotia. And the only other demon name that sounds like Shitori is Citri. Sona Citri. If my assumptions are correct, then that is her true name. There are demons at this school. While they don't seem to be malevolent so far, I will take 2 chances. Seems like it's time to grind. Looks like I have to look into Kido and Shundo to solve my lack of range attacks. A.N. This is a shorter chapter than usual because I'm not sure if you guys prefer long chapters with less frequent updates or short chapters with more frequent updates. Do let me know. So far, after taking into account your comments, you all do make very valid points about the rest of the perverted duo. I started to defrost Issei from the coldness he's exhibiting. Yes, he is still impulsive, but having a high int and wis than normal people allows him to process situations quicker, and combined with gamer's mind, it allows him to act cunningly. He still acts impulsively, simply in a smarter manner, just not all the time. Issei now knows something's up with his left hand, but we all know he's being overcautious. What if Omake? Issei decides to trace the kaleidosticks to learn the second magic, Fate, Collide Prisma Ilia spoilers. Come to think of it, since the kaleidosticks don't exist here, I should be able to trace them, right? I mean, I've got to start learning second magic to troll like Zelrech, right? I put aside my plans to train, ID create, and decided to use the information from Hollow, Ataraxia and Prisma Ilia to make both sentient wands with tracing. If they don't exist in this world, and considering their mystic codes that can be made with the materials of the world, I should be able to trace them and ensure they last indefinitely. Honestly, tracing is the best thing since sliced bread. Phew. Not that that's dealt with. I should. Ilia. Miyu-sama. Oh crap, they're activated, and since I traced them from the time they were fighting the Ainsworth, crap, I done goofed. Wait. Please be quiet, I can explain everything. I almost shouted, but I have to avoid my parents noticing something. After catching their attention, I took a very deep breath and here's the gist. I used tracing, an advanced form of projection, to bring you two into existence. You both came from a visual novel, manga and anime series from a company named Type Moon. If you take a look at this magazine, you can see your adventures and battles versus the Ainsworth in manga form. Now it's obvious you are in a different dimension altogether, and magic works differently here. I don't use magic circuits to create prana, but I use and generate mana, as an example. If you asked why I brought you into existence here, I can honestly say I did it as an experiment for my abilities. If you do not wish to exist in this world, then I can dispel the projection easily and you will simply fade away. If you wish to go out on your own, be my guest, but I will warn you that there are supernatural creatures out there and I have no idea on their motives. If you wish to stay, then I will do my best to accommodate you to a reasonable extent too. By the way, my strength is at the level of 30% to 40% of a heroic spirit of Ali rank, although I have an arsenal of CA++ noble phantasms with me, so as to assure you I can protect you from the forces here if you wish to maintain your existence. Somehow I got that all out in one go. Seems like end increases my lunge capacity. In any case, they have not said anything for about 5 minutes and they have been hovering at the same location. Could you possibly take us where Miyu-sama and the rest are? Sapphire the blue kaleidostic asked. If I remember right, she's the loyal, mature and polite one. Currently I'm unable to do so. Right now I only know the basics of your universe's magecraft and how to fight. I replied completely truthfully. We have to help Ilia and the rest, so why don't you do something? Ruby the red kaleidostic scolded me as she flew and rammed into my head repeatedly, but at this point my end was high enough not to take damage from a weak attack like that. Ruby Neeson, calm down, hitting him won't solve anything. In any case, we should think of this as an opportunity. Sapphire said to Ruby, her older sister. Stick. Looks like Ruby's confused. Let me guess, your idea is to stick with me until I find out if dimension travel to your world is possible or not. That way we can travel to the world where your friends are. That would be beneficial because that way there will be 2 pairs of each of you, increasing your battle power immensely, right? I throw out my first deduction at them. That's exactly it. So you see, Ruby Neeson, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. After all, we never existed in this world, so even then we have nothing to lose and the possibility to gain, Sapphire said to her sister. I guess you're right. Besides, the guy seems like a decent fellow. Ruby finally calmed down as she said this. Then I suppose I will start off with introductions and a proposed plan of action. My name is Issei, Hyodo Issei. I'm in my first year of high school and in the second week of the 3rd term. Until recently I was a horrible and perverted young man until the events of the morning 2 days ago. That same event has changed my life priorities and also has led me to acquire the power I have now in a very short span of time. That power is called the Gamer. It allows me to live my life as a video game character and to learn skills from works of fiction. I will show you a webcomic where the main character had a power that is very similar later. My proposed plan of action is that first we get you accommodated in my room, establish some guidelines to ensure my parents know nothing of this, and then tomorrow you follow me to wherever I'm going so that I can explain to you what little I know about this world and more of my capabilities. Is that acceptable? Wow. Looks like Issei-san is quite an interesting young man. My name is Sapphire, and I'm pretty sure you know all you need to know about me if you traced me along with all my memories. Nice to meet you. And yes, your plan is completely acceptable, Sapphire said enthusiastically. I guess since they were made to use a form of second magic that transfers knowledge from another dimension, they can adapt quickly. That plan actually sounds really good. I'm Ruby and I'm Sapphire's older sister. We can shrink ourselves to follow you around, but I guess you already knew that, right? Ruby said in a more cheery tone than before. Yeah, I do know your capabilities, and avoid doing anything while I'm at school. There are supernatural creatures there and I'm not sure what their motives are. They will probably be able to sense magic, so try to hide your presences if you can. While I so far surpass one of them in physical capabilities, their magical potential and power are able to damage a heroic spirit without magic resistance. I'm confident I can dispatch them if necessary, but until they are proven evil I will take no such action, as I have my suspicions that they may be connected to beings much more powerful than them. Mostly because games, anime and manga have taught me to assume that there is always someone absurdly strong connected to the most random people. It's nice to meet you both and I hope to get along, I said, and held out my hand to shake their hands before realizing they don't actually have hands. Suddenly I felt a bit down, thinking I haven't shaken anyone's hands or had a friend the past few days. Sorry. Forgot that there are no hands to shake, ha ha ha. I laughed for the first time in a long time while scratching the back of my head and looking down. Oh, I apologize for laughing, it's just that it's been a while I really had any semblance of a truthful conversation. Most of my school hates me because before this I was really perverted. I recently cut ties with my perverted friends and I obviously can't tell anyone else about my power. My last 2 days have been non-stop training, like killing zombies, smashing my own entire body into a bloody pulp to make it stronger, and learning all the skills I could. So, I guess, it just felt really good to talk about myself and let everything out. I'm sorry if damn it, my voice is straining a bit. I'm crying? Suddenly both sticks flew beside me and started patting my back softly. Sniff, sniff, to think Issei-san has been going through so much pain. Don't worry. The magic stick Ruby will be your first friend. Ruby said encouragingly while tearing up a bit. Seems like she was touched by my dedication, or she pities me a lot. There, everything will be a-okay. Since Ruby Neeson beat me to it, I will be your second friend. You'll be alright, we're here with you now. Sapphire said to me in a big sister-like manner. She really should be the Nei-san of the two. Thank you. Issei will then become a dimension-traveling sorcerer known for pawning the Ainsworths using a shadow clone army all armed with Excalibur. After that he goes on to become the second user of the kaleidoscope. This was actually the first draft of Chapter 3, which I scrapped because it became a crossover real quick. First, previous ch3 of 38. Next, Chapter 4, Party Member and Familiar. 7 Legion Zombies, over 2 million yen, reached level 31, raised base physical stats to reach above 50 through training alone, and got depressed. Essentially my weekend in a nutshell. Why am I depressed? Well, I believe in starting with the good news first, so first things first, I managed to learn Spiral Mana Arrow by modeling the arrows after Kalidbog 2, and Energy Bolt came pretty naturally. The second piece of good news is that I managed to get 9 Lives Blade Works, Sabama Geshi, and my own version of Kakuyoku Sanren down, as well as learning Presence Concealment and Item Creation. The third set of news was pretty self-explanatory. Wrecked zombies with Kanzhou and Bakuya alone, then trained by smashing my body into Gilgamesh's golden armor a lot. The final piece of good news is that I managed to learn Ho-Ho, which Shunko, Flash Step, is derived from. I also managed to learn some Kido, like Gaki Reko, Byakurai, and Kurohitsugi, Black Coffin. And this is the part where the bad news comes in. I can't create any other form of energy besides mana naturally. That does not mean I can't use other energy, it means I have very little affinity for most types of energy. I can manipulate and create spirit energy almost naturally by substituting mana at a 1:1.2 ratio, which isn't bad at all. But I can't create chakra aside from using 1.5 HP and 1.5 megapixels for 1 unit of chakra. Likewise, I can't generate ki besides sacrificing 2 HP for 1 unit of ki. This revelation essentially ruined my otherwise productive weekend. I basically have to give up on ninjutsu except for some essential techniques like the substitution jutsu, which I still have not learned. I won't be able to do a kamehameha without wrecking my own body, which is like the saddest thing I can think of right now. My childhood dream has been torn to pieces. Sniff sniff. All my affinities have melded into a single skill called the multiverse, and I've also gained a skill called mana conversion, which is what I use to convert mana into other energies. It seems that non-mana skills will be a lot harder to learn and use aside from spirit energy skills. Spiral energy gets its own separate skill, but I can't seem to get it to work. I'm pretty sure you have to be hot-blooded for it, so I'm blaming everything on gamer's mind. However, I wholeheartedly believe that it will come through for me when I need it. I have about 125 unspent stat points, which I guess will go into luck, mag, int and wis, which I will decide after I sort out my abilities. Turns out I can mentally configure how I want to see my skill list, so I changed it so that I can just see the skill name in the increase in stat per skill level, to get a quicker idea of where I am. Skill list. Gamer's mind. Passive, gamer's body. Default, passive variance, mostly normal body, locked. Beginner's boost. Passive, fiction adaption, passive. The multiverse. Passive, spiral energy, passive, LVL. 0. Mana conversion. Passive, CGMEA stance. Passive, LVL.20 increase in AGI and WIS by 1% per level. When taking this stance, increase in AGI and STR by 10 plus 1% per level when parrying. Eye of the mind. True, passive, LVL.18 rank E+. Presence concealment. Passive, active, LVL.11 rank E. Item construction. Passive, active, LVL.5 rank E. Sword mastery. Passive, LVL.21 increase in STR and AGI by 0.5 each per level. Increase in damage when using swords by 10 plus 5% per level. Dual wielding mastery. Passive, LVL.21 increase in STR and AGI by 0.5 per level. Increase in damage when using dual wielding by 10 plus 5% per level. Deception. Passive, LVL.15 increase in int and wis by 0.5 per level. Mana usage. Passive, LVL.18 increase in mag by 0.5 per level. Observe. Active, LVL.21 megapixels cost, 1 increase in int by 1 per level. Pain resistance. Passive, LVL.25 increase in end by 0.5 per level. Physical resistance. Passive, LVL.21 increase in STR and end by 0.5 each per level. Decrease in physical damage by 10 plus 0.5% per level. Multiverse martial arts. Passive, LVL.14 increase in STR and AGI by 0.5 each per level. Increase in damage when using weapons by 10 plus 1% per level. Increase in damage when not using weapons by 20 plus 2% per level. Regeneration. Passive, LVL.16 increase in end by 0.5 per level. Increase in HP regeneration per minute by 1 plus 0.1% per level. ID create. Active, LVL.7 megapixels cost. 194 current dungeons available. Zombies, Ghost, Direwolves, empty. ID escape. Active, LVL.7 megapixels cost. 47, structural grasp. Active, LVL.24 megapixels cost. 3 increase in mag by 0.2 per level, and increase in int by 0.5 per level. Reinforcement. Active, LVL.20 megapixels cost, depends on object, increase in mag by 0.2 per level. Alteration. Active, LVL.20 megapixels cost, 3 increase in mag by 0.1 per level. Gradation air. Active, LVL.16 megapixels cost, 5 increase in int by 0.5 per level. Tracing. Active, LVL.22 megapixels cost, 10 increase in mag by 1 per level. Mana infusion. Active, LVL.7 megapixels cost, variable, increase in mag by 1 per level. Dark flames. Active, LVL.3 megapixels cost, 99 increase in mag by 1 per level. Life drain. Active, LVL.2 megapixels cost, 10 increase in mag by 1 per level. Detect bloodlust. Passive, LVL.10, failburst stream. Active, LVL.1 megapixels cost, 0 or 12. Starburst stream, anime version. Active, LVL.11 megapixels cost, 0 or 40. Keto. Active, LVL.3 megapixels cost, depends on keto used, increase in mag by 2 per level. Ho-ho. Active, LVL.3 megapixels cost, 6 increase in AGI by 2 per level. Spiral mana arrow. Active, LVL.5 megapixels cost, 3 per arrow, increase in mag by 0.5 per level. Energy bolt. Active, LVL.5 megapixels cost, 8 increase in mag by 0.5 per level. 9 lives blade works. Active, LVL.3 megapixels cost, 200 increase in STR and AGI by 1 per level. Sabama Geshi, active, LVL 0.3 megapixels cost, 50 increase in AGI by 2 per level. Kakuyoku Sanren, issei version, active, LVL 0.3 megapixels cost, 30 plus reinforcement cost, increase in AGI and MAG by 1 per level. I let out a sigh as it didn't seem that I've got any extra skills from reaching over 50 base points for STR, AGI and END. Come to think of it, I haven't checked my status screen carefully since my last excursion. But I can't be bothered anymore, screw this. I will come up with a plan tomorrow. I don't feel like thinking about this shit any longer. I felt better after hugging Caliburn as I slept. As I woke up in the morning I felt a lot better. I got up and took a shower, noticing I had grown slightly taller and that my muscles had suddenly become quite well defined if I say so myself. Wonder why they didn't change earlier. In any case my uniform and my Magus Killer set will still hide my muscles, so there's nothing to worry about. Whilst it was still early, I wasn't really in the mood to wreck another Legion zombie, so instead I decided to check my stat screen. Name: Hyodo Issei. Age: 17. Latvian Laches, 31 EXP, 3145 19136. Title: Liberator of Souls. Affiliation: None. Race: Human. HP: 1960-1960. Region: 88.2 per minute. MP: 1018-1018. Region: 7.26 per minute. STR: 100.5, 59 plus 41.5, END: 98, 67 plus 31. AGI: 107.2, 51 plus 56.2. INT: 79.5, 31 plus 48.5, WIS: 36.3, 24 plus 12.3, MAG: 97.8, 30 plus 67.8. Luck: 22, 12 plus 10, points, 125 yen, 2,140,350, that's weird, what's with the exclamation marks next to the stats? I pressed my finger onto the one next to STR when a screen popped up in front of me. You have reached 50 base points in STR. Please choose to learn either Protagonist Minute, an ability that multiplies your STR by 10 times for a minute but halves it for the next 30 minutes. Or choose to learn Villain's True Power, the ability to willingly lower your total STR temporarily and release 5 times the STR you reduced in addition to your original total STR for half the time you held back. No drawbacks after the extra STR is gone. Do note that once you choose an ability, future add-on abilities will be given automatically based on your current choice. YISSSSS. I jump around in my room and started waved Caliburn in the air wildly in joy. I did get a base stat bonus ability. I'm not going to pick Protagonist Minute, since if it were me, I will just wait for the minute to be over and attack when they are weaker. I mean, I can be proud of being smart, right? Totally not unhonorable. Plus, trump moves like that never works out against final boss characters. Villain's True Power. Sounds awesome. I can finally say, since when were you under the impression I was fighting at full strength? Or, well done, you've managed to overpower me at 20% of my power, now let me show you my true power. I quickly selected Villain's True Power, and used it to half my current STR. I then used 103 of my 125 stat points to boost the rest of my base stats to 50, then started picking my bonus skills off the rest. For END, I got Defense Control, which allows me to shift around my END around my body, effectively allowing me to assign higher END values to higher priority locations. My other option was a generic END increase at times of danger, i.e. low HP, and I honestly don't trust main character desperation skills like that. I was quite torn about AGI. I picked Resistance 0, which makes me take no damage from moving at speeds greater than the speed of sound and not be slowed by all forms of resistance, was for me a better long-term investment. The other option was Light Speed, which pushes me to move at light speed for a minute but leaves 1 HP when the technique is over, along with reducing all my stats to 1 for an hour. I did not want to risk it in the end. Just for the occasion I could not kill all my enemies in that 1 minute, I will end up dead for sure. As for INT, I immediately picked Unforbidden Concepts, which allows me to understand concepts at an instinctive rather than theoretical level, which will probably help with developing time, space and reality control skills without all that math. The other option was about unlimited brain expansion, but I'm sure I can figure a way to get that without resorting to a shortcut skill. To my surprise, none of my WIS options had anything to do with helping to make decisions. Instead, they were generic mana regeneration skills. I just picked Rejuvenation Cycle, which tripled my mana regeneration. I picked Multicast for mag, as it lets me set macro commands for mental triggers to activate up to 3 spells at a time. The other one was a protagonist like triple your mag at the cost of your health shit. Void Filler was the luck skill I chose. The description was a bit vague, something like increased luck to find what you need. I suppose it might help in getting missing set items. Like when I killed the Legion zombies, I ended up with another 2 copies of the Cloak of Lost Souls and Sandals of Lost Souls, plus 3 pairs of Gloves of Lost Souls. I'm pretty sure there should be some leggings and armor of the same title. But I digress. Main point is that it was a lot better than the Golden Rule skill, which was basically Gilgamesh's skill to never have money troubles. Once I was done with all that, I set Ho-Ho with 9 lives Blades Works and Sabama Geshi, each to reduce the time it takes for me to reach the enemy and cut them up. I made sure to activate Presence Concealment, and I also used Hades's Cap of Invisibility in its sash form as a scarf as I went to school. I spend the time in my classes, reading books about programming and robotics. I think at some point I should try to make my own AI just for kicks. I keep Presence Concealment on at all times, so sometimes it seems people forget I'm there. I just keep it on permanently and drop it when I want people to notice me, which is basically never. Easy Skill Express. Come to think of it, since Sona hasn't contacted me, I'm assuming she's probably trying to get me to talk in the student council room. The easiest solution is just to use Presence Concealment and Hades's Cap of Invisibility until she can never find me unless I let her. That way, she will have to meet me on my terms. Oh shit. I just remembered she can use her authority as student council president to just call me to the room using the school PA system. Use the teachers to call me. Shit, there goes that plan. Maybe I should sabotage the PA system. Or, I could just rely on my luck to get me through this. I mean, with the current title I have at least 6 times the luck of a normal person. That's got to count for something, right? It's lunchtime. I don't see any student council members near my class nor any occult research club members, so I should be safe, I think. With Presence Concealment, as long as I move out of sight or into someone's blind spot, I can use the invisibility from the cap safely without anyone noticing. Have you two seen Hyodo-san anywhere? Aika Kiryu seems to be asking Matsuda and Motohama about me. I'm standing right next to them at the moment. Presence Concealment at a higher level will hide me from their notice as long as I don't attack or I don't desire to be found, but for now I have to rely on the cap. Nah, we've only see Issei in class before he goes off and disappears somewhere. The last time we saw Issei outside of class was when he dropped of all his porn at our houses on Wednesday night. But damn, he has good taste in those Imouto types. Matsuda replied to Kiryu. I'm slightly glad my taste in little sister erogaze was approved by our resident lolicon. Wait, no, stop Issei, don't be happy about that, bad Issei. Kiryu went out of class right after that. I followed her since I had to ask what did Sona ask her about and what did she tell her. I essentially stalked her while she was looking around the school until she started looking around in the library. I then waited till she started to look for me in the obscure parts of the library, which was pretty big by the way, turned off the invisibility, grabbed her hand, gently, of course, and pulled her into the space between the library shelves. Hyodo-san. When did you? I immediately put my finger to my mouth to signal to her to lower her voice. SHSSSHH, keep quiet. I don't want to be found, but since you're looking for me and I'm looking for you, I had to wait till we were out of sight. Anyway, mind if I ask you what Suna Kaichu asked about and what did you tell her? I will answer some of your questions of course after you answer mine. Sorry about grabbing you, by the way. She asked me how did you beat up the thugs. I just told her you got a sneak attack off one of them then took on the rest while they were still surprised. She left me alone after warning me to avoid less safe areas in the future. So she didn't believe me at all about bluffing my way out of trouble. But Kaichu won't let things go that easily. Something's up. And based on my knowledge of what Maguses do in Fate, Stay Night, I'm going to guess either memory alteration or hypnosis. I see. Thanks Kiryu-san, but could you hold still for the moment? I said to her as I gather a very small bit of mana at the tip of my fingers. Why? By the time she finished her question I had already used Structural Grasp, and identified some magic was used on her memories. I channeled some of Avalon's healing properties into my mana and poked her forehead with it, using Mana Infusion, which should flush out any other residual magic effects and fix anything else. What did you just do, Hyodo-san? I feel I'll ask you again. What did Suna Kaichu ask and how did you reply? She asked how you beat up the group of thugs in detail and I told her exactly what happened even though you told me not to. Wait a minute, why did I forget that? A combination of memory alteration and hypnosis it seems, TCH. I clicked my tongue in disgust. I mean memory manipulation, seriously. I get the whole secrecy thing, but I rather lie my way than to tamper with a person's memories. I guess I'm just recalling the feels trip I had when I played Persona 3, it's damn sad to be forgotten. Magic? She asked me. Well, I guess there's giving her a bit of what I know won't kill me. Besides, there's no way I can look at her confidently if I were to leave her defenseless and ignorant. I suppose I will sum up the situation here and give you some advice. Firstly, yes, magic exists. Secondly, Suna used magic to get you to answer her questions about me, then made you forget about it, most likely because she knew I would come to you to check up about what she asked of you. Thirdly, yes, I can use magic I suppose. Lastly, Suna Shitori, the rest of the student council, Rias Gremory and possibly the rest of the occult research club are not human. I have no ability nor any intention of altering your memories, so as a suggestion, you should avoid me in them as much as you can. Any other questions before I ask you my final question? I said all the facts I know, whilst I left details that she did not need to know out. She looked at me and asked, "Are you really Hyodo Issei?" Well, that's a strange question. Haven't heard that in a while since my parents asked me that for the 8th time last week. Yes, I'm Issei, Hyodo Issei. And I've been myself as long as I've known. Does that answer your question? I said whilst closing one eye and smirking at the thought that if I didn't use presence concealment, a lot of people would have asked the same question. Well, the Hyodo Issei I knew wouldn't suddenly stop being a perverted creep, start studying, do well in class, leave school and go to town in an all-black outfit and have fun all day by himself, she said while scrutinizing me. Wait, what? She's seen me in town. Dang it. I should have worked on presence concealment sooner. But wait, did she see me coincidentally or? People change every day little by little, some simply change faster depending on the situation. In any case, when did you see me in town? Wait a minute, you so happened to be in some shady area last Friday near me, you were stalking me weren't you? I finally come to the realization when it couldn't be a coincidence that she was in the same area and that she also saw me in my Magus Killer attire. She hesitated a bit, but then answered me. I was simply curious on why you've changed so much. I wanted to ask you directly but on Wednesday, but then you rushed out to town, and I couldn't keep up. Eventually I found you, but you had gotten a haircut and a new outfit. Eventually I lost sight of you so I went home, though I followed you on Thursday again. Does this magic stuff have anything to do with why you've changed and become so serious suddenly? She asked, though she didn't seem to be ashamed of admitting to stalking me. Does she not know that's a crime? Oh wait. I peeked at girls, kettle calling the pot black. If it does, why does it matter to you? In any case it's better you don't get involved, although, I used tracing to trace rule breaker. Try keeping this with you. It's a dagger that can dispel and destroy any form of thaumaturgy. Whilst you may not need it to break of magical connections, enchantments or creatures made out of magic, it could be useful to use if you even think you may have behaved strangely. It will probably negate the effects of memory manipulation, but that requires stabbing yourself with it. If you do not wish to take it then it's fine. I flipped the dagger and motioned for her to grab the handle. How did you? Oh right, magic, she sighed. Keep the dagger. I don't think I can just keep something like that without being found out. Instead, can I ask you something? We have 5 minutes before the break is over, 2 questions max. What exactly caused you to change so much and can you teach me magic? Reasonable questions. Wait, what? Me? Teach? Private lessons? No issei, bad issei. But how should I respond? I mean, I just essentially inconsiderately brought her into the world of the supernatural which I still know little about, so, it's my responsibility I guess. For the first question, let's just say I want to be able to look back at my life with confidence that I didn't do anything I would regret. As for the second question, I've sought you out for intelligence about Suna Kaichu's plans and got you involved in the world of the supernatural which I have only known about for less than a week. So my answer is yes, although I will take responsibility. I'm not sure if it will work out. Meet me at the park 15 minutes away from the school and I'll take you out for lunch since we both ended up missing lunch. Is that an acceptable arrangement, Kiryu-san? HNNN, to think you've become such a bold character. But then again, if you could flirt with Kaichu and ask her out on a date I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I merely invited Kaichu out for dinner. If people see it that way then so be it. If I did flirt with her, then it would have been to annoy Genjiro-san a little bit. And why did you want to annoy Genjiro-san? She asked inquisitively. His agony amuses me, I say with a huge grin on my face. Is that so? Ooh-hoo-hoo-hoo. I can see it now, Saji Genjiro at the bottom and, oh shit. I know that look, must, bleach, brain, of all things Saji related. Damn nit, I almost forgot she was a Fujoshi. And I will see you in class then. Hades' cap on, presence concealment, on. Objective. Get the hell away from Kiryu Aika in progress. After getting the last class 1 put on the cap as soon as I was out of sight, opened the window and jumped out of my classroom window. Just extra precaution to avoid the student council on the chance that they might be waiting for me at the hallways. I left school and waited at the park after swapping my clothes. Once Kiryu-san arrived, I got her to hold on to the sash form of the Hades' cap, carried her again and dashed towards town. Her protests were amusing at the start, but it seemed like she enjoyed the ride. I took her to an expensive yakiniku restaurant, and told her to order anything she wanted. When she expressed doubt over my capacity to pay, I merely took out 5 10,000 yen bills and put in on the table. After that, I decided to go over my gamer abilities and explained what I did the past week whilst we ate in our private room. I saw you make an item that grants invisibility so I can accept the magic bit, but seriously, a game with HP and stuff? Come on. I ran at speeds many times what a normal person can do, jumped up buildings and suddenly came across large sums of money. Is accepting I'm a game character so hard to believe? Oh yeah. Give me a moment. Let me see if I can add you to a party and stuff. I looked through the information that was downloaded into my head on the first day. One of the main problems is that the information is there in my head, but if I don't know what to look for, I won't find anything. Which reminds me I have to check what's with that reincarnation option. I bet it has something to do with resetting my level and keeping skills or something. In any case, I found the information about making a party, and thankfully it seems my ability seems to encourage cooperation. It looks like I'm about to have an amusing day. Ooh-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Anyo, Hyodo-san. What's with the evil grin? I was grinning. Totally didn't notice. In any case, I sent a part invite to Kiryu through the menu. And sure enough, a blue-colored box appeared in front of her inviting her to the party I just created. Oh, the piece of meat she was holding with her chopsticks just fell to the ground. That was Matsuzaka beef too, damn it, such a waste. Well, I could always order another plate. Just press accept please. You should be able to do it either mentally or you can just press the accept button. How long is she going to stare in shock? In the end, I grabbed her hand and used it to accept the invitation. Now, can you please say, status? I'm pretty sure you will be able to see your stat distribution. At this point, she finally started being productive and did what I said. Her status screen appeared in front of her. I moved and sat next to her to elaborate about the status screen. Name: Kiryu Aika. Age: 17. Latvian Laches. 1 EXP. 14/15 title. None. Affiliation: none. Race: Human. HP: 100 100ths region. 1 per minute. MP: 110 110ths region. 3 per minute. STR: 5 END. 5 AGI. 6 INT. 15 WIS. 15 MAG. 7 LUK. 11 points. 0. Part of me was jealous since she had, overall, much better stats that I did at LVL.1. Let's bring up your skill list next. Now try saying, skills. Skill list. Gamer's body. Temp, LVL. Max, manhood calculator. Increases int by 5. What? How? Does that even count as a skill? Why does a skill like that make people smarter? No, I don't even want to know. It seems that the party system shares some of my abilities features with you, although you don't have gamer's mind. Gamer's body will be more than enough for what I have in store for you. Wait a minute. What are you planning? Why are you looking at me like that? Kiryu's backing away from me for some reason. She seemed rather frightened. I've got to look myself in a mirror these days. Am I that frightening? In any case, once we finished eating, we went shopping for some sports clothes she could use for training. I paid, of course, but honestly it felt like I lost more time than my money's worth. After shopping and changing her clothes, I brought her to the park and made sure no one spotted us. After that, I made an empty instant dungeon for us both to test some things out. First, we should test whether our body can heal wounds just by recovering your HP. At the same time, we should be able to test whether your wounds will heal when you recover your HP just like mine. Lastly, we have to check if the same things I do to increase my stats will work with you. And as such, I want you to hit me with all your strength. And as I said that, I took off my trench coat and my shirt, signaling for her to attack me. Are you serious? She said while blushing a bit. Eh? Kiryu of all people can blush. Wait. Some of the causes of blushing includes anxiety and anger. Is she mad about the whole ridiculousness of the situation? Kiryu-san, are you alright? Your face is red. I read that this could be due to anxiety, stress or anger. Did I make you mad? Or is there anything I can help you with? I asked her with as much concern as I could muster. She paused for a while before putting her hand on her forehead and sighed. Eh? What's going on? Come on, 100 plus int, start working your magic. Shit. Why can my brain not comprehend this? Maybe my brain is too geared towards studying and magic that it no longer computes human emotions that well. Never mind. Hyodo-san. What is me hitting you supposed to achieve? Basically, you hit me, you take damage from hitting me, then you eat this chocolate bar to see if it heals you. Wait a minute. Why am I taking damage? Kiryu-san, please, do you actually think you can hurt me? Was I just being cocky for a moment? Oh crap. She's mad. Here comes the punch to my face. And, I literally felt nothing. Literally zero damage. Ahahaha. Wait, now's not the time to be laughing in my head. Kiryu-san, are you alright? How much HP did you lose? Does it hurt? She's clutching her hand in pain. Well, that confirms that my skin and bones are way too tough for unarmed normal people. Do I look alright? What the hell is your skin made of? Of course it hurts. And just so you know, I took 6 damage, she screamed at me. Only 6? I asked. What do you mean, only 6? I broke my hand hitting you, you idiot. I took out a red healing potion I made with my item construction skill, uncorked the bottle and forced her to swallow the liquid, since talking will get me nowhere at this point. After I forced it all down her throat, the damage on her arm healed. Why is she looking at me angrily? I did the right thing healing her HP and getting rid of the pain. Wait, she's looking at me like I'm a criminal. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just going to pretend everything is fine and continue. Yes, that should work. As long as she has no time to be mad, it will be fine. I already explained to her the importance of testing ways to make stronger and not just learn magic. I quickly grabbed her and used ID escape, bringing her out of the ID and immediately creating a zombie instant dungeon. I took out 2 Uzis and handed them to her, telling her to kill everything she sees. What do you mean kill? Well, if it makes you feel better, zombies are technically already dead. Besides, it's easy, just point and shoot. Why? Can you just suggest killing so easily? Isn't it normal in games to kill to get stronger? The strong prey on the weak, and the weak finds ways to get stronger. Typical game logic, and I have the powers of a game character. You wanted to learn magic and get stronger, so put some effort into it. Besides, back then I only had some Bakans to deal with zombies. I'm giving you guns, it doesn't get any easier than this. Who knew trying to introduce people to my ability would be so frustrating? I don't think I want another party member, or at least, not a lot. Oh look, it's a zombie salaryman. I pointed at the zombie happily whilst she gave me a look that basically said, how the hell is that a good thing? 10 minutes later and Kiryu was doing pretty well, if I say so myself. Die bitches! Screamed Kiryu whilst moving down a horde of zombies with a machine gun I provided. I'm basically power leveling her whilst trying to desensitize her to killing. Well, technically they are already dead, but I digress. I would aggro multiple zombies using Archer's bow and some normal arrows, since I was obsessed with learning to break noble phantasms to the point where I forgot I had to actually fire it with a bow. I managed to get archery and bow mastery as a skill once I actually started using the bow. Thankfully I did a decent job by simply copying Emiya's shooting form and stuff. After that I brought the zombies to Kiryu and I repeatedly traced her some new guns and ammo. She quickly got up to LVL.10 after a couple more minutes. The Legion zombie eventually appeared. Through at this point she freaked out. Normally I would be annoyed, but I think I'm starting to really appreciate her variety of facial expressions. I gave her an RPG to launch at it. Through it only took off about 200 HP from the Legion zombie's 23,000 health. But that was all I needed. I just wanted to make sure she would get at least a bit of the express from this. I casted 2 Black Flame and targeted the fireballs at the head and the chest of the Legion zombies. Then I traced Kanzhou and Bakuya, overedged both of them using reinforcement, and threw each sword where each of the black flame balls landed. The ensuring explosion of the noble phantasms caused the black flames to spread over most of the Legion zombie's body. Since those flames won't stop burning and growing stronger unless mana is used to get rid of it, I can just sit back and relax while the Legion zombie burns to death. After that, I got a level whilst Kiryu when leveled twice from just leeching. It seems I get all the loot when auto loot is on since party members don't get their own inventory power. So I gave Kiryu about 50,000 yen, which is honestly way above her share. She seemed to realize it and thanked me quite a bit. I'm glad that this zombie killing expedition ended up working so well. Seems like she got rid of all the stress dealing with me this way. I also noticed that Legion Zombie dropped the leg armor of Lost Souls, so I'm another step closer to finishing the set. Although interestingly it also dropped another copy of the Life Drain skill book. I gave it to Kiryu to see if she could learn it and thankfully, the option to learn the skill book came up for her. I told her she could practice the spell on me another time, since I'm unlikely to take damage from it, and that way, it won't hurt anyone. We exited the instant dungeon and talked a bit whilst I escorted her home. She didn't want me to carry her for some reason, citing something like too much excitement for one day. I talked about how I don't care for my reputation in particular, but it would be nice to make up for what I've done and actually make some friends. Kiryu then suggested that with my int stat I should be able to be a tutor and suggested an interesting idea. Basically, if I tutor Kiryu and she does well in a few of the class tests before the finals, she can then claim that I make a good tutor. After that, she can recommend me to our classmates that I make a good tutor and such. Then hopefully I could increase my reputation by helping my classmates study. It was a damn good idea, so I naturally accepted. We decided that I would tutor her on the weekdays after school whilst we trained together on the weekends. I asked her to not use her stat points just yet, unless she wants to put some into WIS or luck, since I wanted to see if she could raise her stats as easily as I could through training. After dropping her home by evening I ran to town to do some shopping. Come to think of it, I really should go buy some Nanoa, Negima and fairy tale stuff to learn more magic. Negima especially since that would increase my repertoire of spells by a lot. Fairy tale because dragon magic and my Nakama power. Nanoa, because I can befriend people easier that way. I also have this super awesome idea for a familiar, but that would require a lot of skills. I think that with my int, wis, item construction, and with some more knowledge about shikigamis and homunculuses I can make a really awesome familiar. As such I have to learn some, in Myoto, some, jewel magecraft, and a lot of electronics. I spent the evening buying up all the above series, all the movies from the Terminator series, Tokyo Ravens, for, in Myoto, a new computer, a couple of Final Fantasy games, for even more spells, and finally, some books about coding and electronics. The next 2 weeks passed by in a blur. Suna Kaichu didn't contact me. In addition to me avoiding her, I tutored Kiryu during the weekdays and I acquired the teaching skill, which at higher levels seemed to allow me to directly impart some of my skills, so that's pretty awesome. But that means I also have to teach and train people properly to level it up. So far we found that Kiryu's stats do seem to rise like mine, just a bit slower through. She was a bit squeamish about crushing her fists into a bloody pulp, so instead I tried making her stronger through some sword training. She did get the mastery skills, but it took longer than I did. Most of our excursions in the zombie dungeon were pretty much the same as the first, as in she took out the mobs, hit the boss whilst I killed it. I also managed to teach her to use Energy Bolt, through instead of Spiral Mana Arrow. She made a skill called Mana Bullet. I also got to know her a bit better. It seems her relationship with her parents is slightly similar to my own a few weeks ago, i.e. they worry if she will get a boyfriend and stuff. On my side of the story I made very significant progress myself. I managed to recreate the liquid metal used to make the T-1000 from Terminator 2 by tracing the necessary machinery in the abandoned warehouse I used last time. Then using reinforcement and alteration on some materials, I changed the chemical structure to fit the necessary specifications to make the liquid metal. So far I have about 200 kilograms of liquid metal stored in containers kept in my inventory. I also used reinforcement and alteration on rocks to make jewels out of them for the advancement of my jewelcraft, magecraft skill. That way I don't have to spend ludicrous amounts of money on expensive jewelry and resort to pleasing old men for money. My item construction leveled up considerably as I made my own magic swords, spears, axes and potions using the memories I have from my noble phantasms and other stuff. My fiction adaptation skill combined with structural grasp once again proved its overpoweredness as I could learn Dragon Slayer magic through experiencing the full memories from the characters from Fairy Tail, whose actual full life story is obviously non-existent in real life. I spammed mass-produced shikigamis to level up my Inmyoto arts and my shikigami creation skills. I combined the Einsburns alchemy and homunculus techniques with that of the techniques from Monachemia, PSP game, to create my own alchemy and homunculus creation skill. It was a very costly skill to level up through. Thankfully, since my own body can regenerate lost parts easily, I can just chop myself up and use my body parts as materials. I managed to make a couple of human-like clones of myself, but I made sure that they wouldn't have self-awareness so that I won't be particularly guilty when I reused their bodies to level up my skill. I didn't focus on Nanoa-verse magic skills yet since I'm focused on making my super awesome familiar and my own mystic code. I decided to hold off learning a variety of the Akamatsu-verse magic for now, and instead focused on leveling up Centum Lanciae Umbri, 100 Shadow Spears, since the spell pierces magic barriers. As much as I want to work on Magic Arabia, there's too much work to be done for now. I managed to level up another 4 times during the week and get trained up an overall of 25 stats for each of my stats sans luck, which I only an increase of 4. I also made Mana Rope and Mana Chains, which were essentially utility and binding skills. I managed to train up my Archery, Bow Mastery, and Gun Mastery to about LVL 12 each. My Ho-Ho was at LVL 0.30 now, which increased my AGI massively, and I managed to learn Mana Step, which was a passive that allowed me to walk on air for about 1 mana per step. I would put my total AGI around rank of D about now, through my base is at 76. On the social side, my parents seem ecstatic that I'm getting along with a classmate so well. However, I didn't think they would actually care more about the fact that the classmate was a girl than the fact that I was tutoring her. It was very exasperating to have them jump to conclusions, and I really got tired hearing about the word grandchildren. With about 3 weeks left to the school's finals, all the classes had a class test on each subject on Monday and Tuesday, while we got our results during the next few days of the week. I spent most of the weekdays finishing up a little science project of mine that used some research and technology I looked into when I hacked some technology companies. Needless to say, I got perfect scores on everything except for one subject where I deliberately got a 99 just because I could. Kiryu got a within the high 90s for every subject. She spent some time telling some of our classmates that she had a good tutor to teach her for free but hadn't said my name since it might deter some people. She called me after school to tell me she's got 2 of our classmates interested. They agreed that we can all meet up to study at her house starting from next Monday. I made plans for the weekend to go to the southwest of Japan, towards Kumamoto, to get the last material I need for my familiar. I woke up on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. after a good night's rest and left a note for my parents telling them I will be back before dinner, then left for Kumamoto, which was about 1,000 kilometers, with my Hades's cap on. With my current speed I can run at 75 kilometers per hour without reinforcement. With my current level of reinforcement, at 28, I can reinforce my legs' speed and strength by 150%. With my resistance 0 skill I can run faster at 180 kilometers per hour with reinforcement without slowing down. Coupled with my Ho-Ho, which allows me to cross a distance of 30 steps worth with a single step. If I were to run and use Ho-Ho all the way, I would be a bit below Mach 4. By my estimates, if I were to run unobstructed, without stopping at max speed, while using Mana Step, and had unlimited mana, I can reach Kumamoto within 25 minutes. Unfortunately for me, I can only use a bit over 200 steps consecutively with my mana pool, which would cover me for about 216 kilometers before I have to stop. I naturally regenerate enough mana to use about 4 to 5 steps per minute, but that's not enough. I had to drink a lot of the mana potions and reabsorb the mana from the jewels I used for my magecraft during my journey, which I made 4 stops in total on the way there. In the end, it took me almost an hour to travel over 1,000 kilometers. Once I reached Kumamoto, I had breakfast there, trying the local delicacies whilst resting for a bit before heading off for my real goal: hunting an eastern imperial eagle. Of course I'm not killing it, it's a vulnerable species. I'm just going to take a couple of DNA samples, then heal them with Avalon's energies before heading off. It took about 3 hours for me to find one, which I caught using Mana Rope. After I got my samples, I went and had lunch around Kumamoto whilst taking lots of touristy photos before going shopping for souvenirs. I made sure to spend lots of money on souvenirs and snacks, making sure to buy a lots for Kiryu too. I left the city at about 3 p.m., heading back home the same way, stopping about 4 times for my breaks and taking a few selfies at the various places I stopped by. In the end, I got back home at about 5 p.m. I snuck out in the evening after telling my parents that I was really tired and going to sleep early. and I created an empty ID and began cultivating the DNA whilst experimenting with my homunculus creation skills and such. Once I was satisfied, I went to bed excited for tomorrow. After waking up early on Sunday morning, I spent the morning finishing up my science project that I have been working on. I met up with Kiryu for lunch and told her about my day yesterday. She looked completely slack-jawed when I told her I ran to Kumamoto in an hour. Good thing I didn't tell her I could reach there under half that time if I had the mana for it. We trained a bit and I asked her if she would like meet new familiar that I plan to make today at the abandoned warehouse. I told her that it will be done at midnight and that she should meet me right. I gave her the souvenirs I bought for her, and was really glad she liked it. I went to the abandoned warehouse again after dinner, making sure I was not followed and checking the place for any magic detecting spells. I then set up my equipment, and finished calibrating my science project with the homunculus body. Once it was 15 minutes away from midnight, I took out the artificial Shikigami core I have been working on and placed it within the homunculus body that was mostly made with liquid metal. I set the tube containing the homunculus body in the center of an Inmyoto magic circle and began chanting. I poured out over 1,000 units of mana, which was 50 times what I use for normal Shikigamis. The warehouse was flooded with light when midnight struck. Once the light had disappeared, I smiled and walked towards the now living familiar, which by all looks and purposes looked exactly like an Eastern Imperial eagle. But I knew it was so much more. I squatted down and smiled at the familiar. My name is Issei, Hyodo Issei. I am your creator, master and your father. Let's make lots of happy memories, okay? After I said that, Kiryu had just entered into the warehouse. I stood up and directed both my arms towards my creation, my familiar and my son. Behold Ika Kiryu, for you stand before not a mere familiar. This familiar is an amalgamation of science, Inmyoto magic, alchemy and my own blood. His body is made from the liquid metal that made the T-1000, able to assume any form he so chooses. His mind is machine, biological and spiritual all at the same time. His one machine eye forms the half of its brain and has its own analytical engine. This eye can fire laser shots powered by mana and spirit energy strong enough to blast holes through several walls of concrete. In addition to normal video capture, it also has thermal, infrared and night vision video functions. Its biological parts contains the DNA of the Eastern Imperial eagle I sampled, allowing it the ability to fly like its brothers like any ordinary eagle, but better. His spiritual core allows him to use the magic I have already given it, learn new magic and evolve further. He already has the ability to use my structural grasp, reinforcement, spiral mana arrow, mana chains, and keto. And with the mystic code that I will be providing it, it will be able to kill those that dare call themselves immortals. I take a deep breath before finishing up the introduction. Meet my son, Doomwing, A.N. Before you go around saying Issei should not be moving that fast, do remember that Emiya with Archer's arm could run at 50 km per hour in an obstructed area whilst he was very far from Archer's abilities. Plus they had to deal with physics, which Issei does not have to deal with when it comes to speed. And they don't have Shunpo nor can they walk on air. And yes, Issei just went all mad scientist. This is why you don't let people make their own familiars. Because they tend to give them absurd names and go crazy with it. What do you guys think of Issei's Terminator, Shikigami, Homunculus, Eagle hybrid? By the way, thank you guys so much for your support. I love reading all your reviews so far. Thanks for the reminder about the Akamatsu verse. I hope the new way of listing skills works better for you guys. Keep commenting on how I can improve stuff, and sorry if you were looking forward to harem antics, but I believe actual relationships have to take time to build up. As you can probably guess, Razor and a couple of the early bad guys are already screwed. I'm a bit conflicted on whether to destroy certain antagonists with Doomwing, Issei's upcoming Mystic Code, pure magic, GARCHER style, or through pure brutality. Tell me if you want more comedy or plot development. Right now I'm trying to push the plot forward to deal with Sona and to move on to the next year, where we can start the main story. I'm sorry if the conversation is not up to par. +1 if you manage to guess who the two students who accepted to be tutored are. Winking face. First, previous ch4 of 38. Next, chapter 5, minor preparations. For all my enthusiasm in introducing my newly born familiar, Kiryu stood dumbfounded for a couple of seconds before looking at me seriously. Wait, is she looking disappointed? She's rubbing her temples like she has a headache thinking about the subject. There's no way my familiar can be considered disappointing, right? Hyodo-san, she began softly, It is clearly that you've put a lot of effort and that you've done something very impressive, but, she paused and took a deep breath before screaming at me. Why would you give it a stupid name like that? What do you mean it's a stupid name? I replied immediately. She face-palmed immediately and continued. Hyodo issei, you can give me a numerical value for your intelligence and wisdom, but obviously you are not really proving it right now. You do realize, Doomwing. Sounds like a name some third-rate villain from a children's show would give their evil robotic pets, right? I took a few seconds to digest the words before realizing she was right. I had gotten so caught up with actually making Doomwing that I haven't given much thought to naming him. I immediately picked up Doomwing and began sobbing. I'm sorry, son, for giving you an awful name. Please forgive your foolish father. It is fine, father. According to the information installed within my spiritual core, it is entirely in my capacity to spread doom from above. As such, it is not an entirely unfitting name. In fact, it may be to our advantage if our adversaries were to be distracted by the name, which would allow me time to cast my magic, shapeshift my form, or blast them with my eye. Doomwing said using my very own voice. Ah, you're the best, I said happily whilst hugging Doomwing. Hyodo-san. Why does he sound like you? Kiryu asked, perplexed by Doomwing's perfect imitation of my voice. Ah, he used my little speech earlier as a voice sample, then generated a wider array of words from it. If you talk a bit more with him, he should be able to mimic your voice too. I plan to give him some voice samples from games and stuff to let him have a bigger range. I explained to Kiryu whilst admiring my work. It's late, so I'll walk you home. Thanks for coming out to see Doomwing. I'll make sure to reflect and think of names properly next time. I said apologetically. But really, thanks for being a friend and letting me take up your time to show off. I gave her an honest smile as I thanked her. It really wasn't much. I'm used to staying up late. Although, if you plan on making any more familiars like that, you better consult me on the names, got it? After making me promise to consult her, I signaled for Doomwing to sit on my left shoulder whilst we walked through the empty streets back to her home. She showed me her status screen and skill list when I asked to check her progress. I also showed mine to her since she asked as well. Name. Kiryu Ika. Age. 17 Latvian Laches. 21 EXP. 1222 4450th title. None affiliation. Issei's party. Race. Human. HP. 400/400ths region. 4 per minute MP. 380/380ths region. 7.5 per minute. STR. 26.5. 19 plus 7.5. End. 20 plus 0. AGI. 23.5. 17 plus 7.5. Int. 26, 21 plus 5, WIS. 15, 15 plus 0, MAG. 34, 26 plus 8, Luck. 12, 12 plus 0. Points. 100 skill list, gamer's body, temp, LVL. Max. Manhood calculator. Increases int by 5, gun mastery, passive, LVL 0.15 increase in STR and AGI by 0.5 each per level. Increase in damage when using guns by 10 plus 5% per level. Mana bullet. Active, LVL. 8 MP cost, 1 per bullet, increase in mag by 0.5 per level. Energy bolt. Active, LVL 0.8 megapixels cost, 8 increase in mag by 0.5 per level. Name. Hyodo issei. Age. 17 Latvian Laches. 36 EXP. 12,145 27,556. Title. Liberator of Souls. Affiliation. None. Race. Human. HP. 2,272,270ths region. 131.66 per minute MP. 824 2,625ths region. 57.96 per minute. STR. 134, 68 plus 66, minus 50, due to skill, equals 84 END, 113.5, 74 plus 39.5. AGI. 223.6, 68 plus 155.6, int. 107.5, 70 plus 37.5, WIS. 96.6, 68 plus 28.6. MAG. 257.5, 72 plus 185.5, Luck. 54, 54 plus 10, points, 47 yen, 900,000. Skill list. Gamer's mind. Passive, gamer's body. Default, passive variance, mostly normal body, locked. Beginner's boost. Passive, Fiction adaptation, passive. The multiverse, passive, spiral energy, passive, LVL. 0. Mana conversion, passive, CGMEA stance, passive, LVL.20 increase in AGI and WIS by 1% per level. When taking this stance, increase in AGI and STR by 10 plus 1% per level when parrying. Eye of the Mind, true, passive, LVL.20 rank D. Presence concealment, passive, active, LVL.35 rank C. Item construction, passive, active, LVL.30 rank C. Archery, passive, active, LVL.12 rank E. Teaching, passive, active, LVL.10 rank E. Sword mastery, passive, LVL.22 increase in STR and AGI by 0.5 each per level. Increase in damage when using swords by 10 plus 5% per level. Gun mastery, passive, LVL.12 increase in STR and AGI by 0.5 each per level. Increase in damage when using guns by 10 plus 5% per level. Bow mastery, passive, LVL.12 increase in STR and WIS by 0.5 each per level. Increase in damage when using guns by 10 plus 5% per level. Dual wielding mastery, passive, LVL.22 increase in STR and AGI by 0.5 per level. Increase in damage when using dual wielding by 10 plus 5% per level. Villain's true power, active, passive. Description: the ability to willingly lower your total STR temporarily and release 5 times the STR you reduced in addition to your original total STR for half the time you held back. No drawbacks after the buff. Reduced 50 STR, plus 250 STR when activated along with returning 50 STR. Defense control. Active, passive. Description: the ability to rearrange the end values of your body. Resistance 0. Passive. Description: the ability that reduces all damage from moving at high speeds to 0. Also, all forms of resistance when moving will become 0, e.g. air resistance cannot slow you. Unforbidden concepts. Passive. Description: the ability that allows you to understand concepts at an instinctive rather than theoretical level. Allows the usage of concepts beyond your comprehension by instinct. Rejuvenation cycle. Passive. Description: triples base mana regeneration levels. Multicast. Active, passive. Description: allows you to set macro commands using mental triggers to activate up to 3 spells at a time. Void filler. Passive. Description: increase in luck and % chance of getting what you need. In Myoto, passive, active, LVL.31 rank C, Shikigami creation, passive, active, LVL.31 rank C. Jewelcraft. Passive, active, LVL.30 rank C. Description: this magecraft branch allows the storing of mana in jewels. Jewels with stored mana can be used to heal, recover mana from, used in spells and detonated as a limited mystic code. Alchemy. Passive, active, LVL.31 rank C, Homunculus creation, passive, active, LVL.31 rank C. Deception. Passive, LVL.18 increase in int and WIS by 0.5 per level. Mana usage. Passive, LVL.24 increase in mag by 0.5 per level. Observe. Active, LVL.25 megapixels cost, 1 increase in int by 1 per level. Pain resistance. Passive, LVL.27 increase in end by 0.5 per level. Physical resistance. Passive, LVL.24 increase in STR and end by 0.5 each per level. Decrease in physical damage by 10 plus 0.5% per level. Multiverse martial arts. Passive, LVL.20 increase in STR and AGI by 0.5 each per level. Increase in damage when using weapons by 10 plus 1% per level. Increase in damage when not using weapons by 20 plus 2% per level. Regeneration. Passive, LVL.28 increase in end by 0.5 per level. Increase in HP regeneration per minute by 1 plus 0.1% per level. ID create. Active, LVL.9 megapixels cost, 192 current dungeons available. Zombies, Ghost, Direwolves, Orge, Empty. ID escape. Active, LVL.9 megapixels cost, 46, Structural grasp. Active, LVL.30 megapixels cost, 3 increase in mag by 0.2 per level, and increase in int by 0.5 per level. Reinforcement. Active, LVL 0.30 megapixels cost, depends on object, increase in mag by 0.2 per level. Alteration. Active, LVL 0.30 megapixels cost, 3 increase in mag by 0.1 per level. Gradation error. Active, LVL 0.25 megapixels cost, 5 increase in int by 0.5 per level. Tracing. Active, LVL 0.32 megapixels cost, 10 increase in mag by 1 per level. Mana infusion. Active, LVL 0.15 megapixels cost, variable, increase in mag by 1 per level. Dark flames. Active, LVL 0.5 megapixels cost, 98 increase in mag by 1 per level. Life drain. Active, LVL 0.3 megapixels cost, 10 increase in mag by 1 per level. Detect bloodlust. Passive, LVL 0.12, life drain. Active, LVL 0.1 megapixels cost, 2 per minute, increase in int by 1 per level. Failburst stream. Active, LVL 0.1 megapixels cost, 0 or 12. Starburst stream, anime version. Active, LVL 0.11 megapixels cost, 0 or 40. Keto. Active, LVL 0.11 megapixels cost, depends on keto used, increase in mag by 2 per level. Ho-ho. Active, LVL 0.32 megapixels cost, 6 increase in AGI by 2 per level. Spiral mana arrow. Active, LVL 0.5 megapixels cost, 3 per arrow, increase in mag by 0.5 per level. Energy bolt. Active, LVL 0.10 megapixels cost, 8 increase in mag by 0.5 per level. Mana rope. LVL 5 MP cost, based on thickness, increase in mag by 0.5 per level. Mana chains. LVL 5 MP cost, based on thickness, increase in mag by 0.5 per level. Mana step. LVL 11 MP cost, 1 per step, increase in mag by 0.5 per level. Mana bullet. LVL 3 MP cost, 1 per bullet, increase in mag by 0.5 per level. Dragon Slayer magic. LVL 0.12 MP cost, depends on spell, increase in mag per level by 2. Description. Allows the use of Dragon Slayer magic. Currently, Fire Dragon Slayer magic, rank D. 9 lives blade works. Active, LVL 0.10 megapixels cost, 200 increase in STR and AGI by 1 per level. Sabama Geshi, active, LVL 0.10 megapixels cost, 50 increase in AGI by 2 per level. Kakuyoku Sanren, issei version, active, LVL 0.10 megapixels cost, 30 plus reinforcement cost, increase in AGI and mag by 1 per level. Centum Lancier Umbri, 100 Shadow Spears, LVL 3 MP cost, 198 increase in mag by 1 per level. Description. A spell that gives physical form to Shadow Spears, pierces magic barriers. The number of spears summoned is equivalent to the skill's level. You're already way above normal human standards. If you just raise your int and a bit on the other stats, you will be set for life. Unlike me, you're not really going to go around fighting for a living, so once you put those stat points in, you should be fine. I told her after we took a while to check each other's stats. You going to be fighting for a living? She asked while looking quite worried. I didn't mean it like that. I will probably make money inventing stuff with my current level of int and all, but, if a power like this, I'm sure trouble will find its way into my life. I mean, this is such a main character, I'm sure I'm going to be dragged into some supernatural adventure at some point. Until then, I'm just going to keep getting stronger, preparing and having some fun in between. I stopped walking when I realized we already reached her house. Well, good night, see you at school tomorrow, Kiryu-san. Good night to you too, Hyodo-san. After we said our goodbyes, I took out the Hades's cap of invisibility and put it on myself. Now Doomwing, we are going to sneak back into my room through the window. You should go into spirit form and stay that way unless we are alone. You should not be fighting until a week from now, as your spiritual core hasn't been stabilized with your entire body yet. You will follow me to school tomorrow and use the Hades's cap while I'm stuck in class to do some reconnaissance for me. As much as I would like to introduce you to my parents, they don't know off my abilities yet, so appearing before them is out of the question. In any case, I will be adding you to the party, which you should know about through the information I put into your core. Follow everything so far? Yes, father. I will carry out the plan without fail, he said enthusiastically whilst moving a wing and saluting with it like a soldier. Ah, that's adorable. I invited Doomwing to the party and found that his physical stats seemed to be unstable, having question marks on them. Through his mag stats were fine at 200, and his int and wis at 80 and 20 respectively. After sneaking back in my room, I went to sleep after taking out Caliburn and having Doomwing sleep next to me. Before I slept I thought about the state about my relationships and felt dissatisfied somewhat, since besides Doomwing and Kiryu, there's no one else I have shared my secret with that makes Kiryu my only real friend right now, and Doomwing does not really fit the category of friend yet. I suppose one day I will have to tell my parents. With me going out so much and being secretive, I'm sure they are suspecting something, and I don't want to have to lie anymore to them either. Quest alert. Optional, title. Tell your parents about your powers. Objectives. Exactly what the title says. Time limit, 2 weeks. Completion reward. 50,000 express failure penalty. Decreased relationship with parents. Haven't had one of those for a long time. Guess it means I really want to tell them, huh? I accepted the quest, then went to sleep. I got up very early in the morning and decided to cook breakfast for once. I was quite nervous of fucking up, so I decided to cheat by using structural grasp to retrieve the cooking skills from Emma Yashuru's and Archer's memories from Fate, Stay Night. It worked since a lot of the visual novel was about cooking anyway. My head felt a bit heavy after such an extensive amount of cooking skills and knowledge entered my head. They really should have made a slice of life version of Fate, Stay Night and call it Fate, Stay in the Kitchen. You have gained a new skill through sifting through fictional characters' memories. Cooking. Passive, LVL.72, 100 EXP, 51% rank, A++. Description. A skill to create food from ingredients. The higher the skill, the greater the quality of the food and the efficiency of which you make it. What the hell? If it worked this well, I'm going to be diving into all the main characters of all series memories. But then again, it didn't really work on dragon slaying magic. I suppose it's because skills like that require you to actually train to use them. I suppose my body had the right stats to cook, plus this is a more replicable skill than magic, which is why I gained this skill at such a high level. In any case, this is still the first time I'm cooking, so I will have to hype myself as I cook. I reached into the depths of my mind and pull a dish's names from the hill of recipes. I began to chant as I cooked breakfast for me and my parents while also preparing a bento for me and Kiryu. I am the bone of my wok, steel is my body, and oil is my blood. I have cooked over 1,000 meals unknown to fast foods, nor known to ready meals, have withstood heat to cook many meals. Yet those hands will never feed everyone. So, as I cook, unlimited meal works. Before I knew it, I had finished cooking. I set the breakfast at the table whilst packing my lunch. When my parents woke up, they were shocked to see I had cooked breakfast. For some reason they had a face filled with dread. Thankfully their frowns turned into smiles and tears of joy once they begun eating the breakfast I cooked. A ++ rank cooking for the win. I might actually get into cooking if I see them smile like this every time. I left for school with Doomwing carrying the cap whilst in spirit form. Spirit form makes him unable to be seen but also unable to attack, except through some magic. I'm glad Doomwing turned out right. Normally familiars are either the kind you contract with or in the Nasuverse's case, is made from leftover thoughts of animals and other beings. In this case I used my recent memories, which seems to have aligned him quite well with my view. However, I don't want some replica of me, so I plan to have him develop his own personality by letting him explore town or surf the internet while I'm busy tutoring and while I'm in school. Today, however, I plan to have him to spy on the Occult Research Club members and the Student Council members. My presence concealment is at rank C now, which conceals my presence to the point where people should sense nothing other than me being human. Whilst the skill weakens when I prepare to attack, it doesn't apply to poisoning, which means I should get started on making some poisons to take advantage of that. When I reached my class 1, sat down and activated my shared perception skill that share the sensorial inputs of those I have a mana connection with, which in this case is Doomwing. I sent Doomwing out of the class and told him through our connection of a number of people I want observed. This list included Suna Shitori, Saji Genshiro, Tsubaki Shinra, Tsubasa Yura, Tomo Meguri, Momo Hanakai, Rei Kusaka, Rias Gremory, Akeno Hamejima and Yuto Kiba. I already included their appearance in the information I installed in his core, so there was no need for me to describe them. Doomwing immediately went out to complete his task. What a good boy. Once he finds something he likes, I will make sure to pamper him with it as a reward. I took out my cell phone and messaged Kiryu to try my homemade bento later. If it's anything I learned from anime, it's to never explicitly invite someone of the opposite sex to have lunch together. Unless of course you plan cause rumors to spread or you just want to troll them. I got through the boring classes this time by thinking of plans to create a spiritual core that can transform beings into my familiars, in the off chance I encounter strong supernatural beings that I could recruit, just like how in RPGs you can defeat and recruit monsters sometimes. I used 1 medium soul stone and about 10 soul shards to make Doomwing's core. I originally made a spiritual core using a large soul stones and several medium soul stones, but it apparently was too powerful for an eagle-sized body of liquid metal, so I chucked it in my inventory for later use. I think I will modify that core tonight using the Einsburn's knowledge for when they made spiritual containers to house heroic spirits, just for kicks. Who knows, I might want to make my own Holy Grail War in the future if I get bored. Or maybe I could make my own Holy Grail War and make it into a reality TV battle show. Oh wait. That kind of plot would make me the sick perverse main bad guy that puts the main characters through hell all because of entertainment. Scrap that plan then. I might as well work on it just in case I might get familiars at the level of heroic spirits. When it was finally lunchtime, I met up with Kiryu at the rooftop and gave her the bento I cooked for her. Her face went red with a blissful expression after the first bite. So good. Hyodo-san, you didn't tell me you could cook so well. She praised me while continuing to eat the rest of it. Cheated a little. Ripped the skills directly of a character. Any complaints on that? I questioned her while eating my own bento. Wow, it's good. Although my facial expression remained the same neutral expression I use when I'm not excited. As usual, I blame Gamer's Mind for that. Not at all. Please continue to abuse your bullshit abilities, she exclaimed while finishing up my bento. In fact, I think you should run home and cook up more food for our classmates you will be teaching. I think that might be a good idea to soften them up, since they're girls. I think you will find that they won't have the best reaction to know that you will be the one tutoring. That's a good idea. I think I can make some sweets easily enough. Wait, you aren't just asking me to do this just because you get to have some as well, right? By the way, the 2 girls are Murayama and Katase. Originally there were 2 guys that were interested, but then they changed their mind. She's totally changing the topic and she's not denying it either. Crap, it just had to be the girls I peaked on the most. Wait, who were the other guys? Matsuda and Motohama, but they changed their mind when they heard it was a guy doing the tutoring. Apparently they were hoping for a hot female college student as a tutor. I slammed my head into the wall due to the ridiculous reason they gave for turning down free tuition, but then again I have no right to judge since I may have done the exactly same thing not long ago. We chatted a bit more before heading back to class. I checked back with Doomwing and so far he hadn't found anything special. Though he did find out the student council's members' phone numbers and addresses by using structural grasp on some files. Guess that means I can now do some stakeouts. As much as I would prefer sending some cheap shikigami, they will probably be easily detectable, so I will refrain from that. After school I dashed to town, with the Hades' cap of course. Man, I love that hat. Bought some cooking ingredients and immediately went home to cook up a dozen donuts and some glaze. I made a lemon, caramel and pure sugar glaze to go along with the donuts. After I baked and glazed the donuts, I put them into a container then into my inventory so that they don't shake when I run. I then swapped my clothes to my black trench coat and suit before running to Kiryu's house where we will be meeting. By the time I reached her home and had Kiryu's mom open the door for me, I saw 2 extra pairs of shoes at the entrance, which meant that they were all already up in Kiryu's room waiting. Well, honestly I'm prepared for the worst so that I won't be too hurt by their reactions. I turned the doorknob to open the door after knocking on it and receiving Kiryu's permission to enter. Rule number 5. Always knock on the door to prevent accidental pervert moments, and prepare my body for incoming shinai attacks. A.N. Hi guys, this was a very short chapter since I have been quite busy lately with revision and applying for more internships. This was more of just a checkup on Issei's abilities and his plans for the future. I hoped that I managed to address some of the reader's concerns about detail, as I felt that I did neglect a lot of detail because I tried to push the plot along too much. I have a rough idea on Issei's main fighting style, through the only reason Issei will end up OP in the very late stages is because of his speed plus Diedrich boosts. At the early stages Issei is already quite OP, but since he's not a sociopath and since he takes the path of least regret, he won't be some trigger-happy sociopath demolishing everyone until it's time. Future chapter plans include Katase plus Murayama Friendship, Finals, Ghost Dungeon, Sona's Peerage and Proper Introduction to the Supernatural, Spring Break and Start of Term, Volume 1 events. Any spoilers on how Issei will recruit people for his faction will be obvious after covering the Ghost Dungeon. And yes, Issei will have a very big challenge. I hope to address his low mana region issues, but honestly with his current region he can recover it within an hour, which is honestly pretty op for a normal character. This is my first FIC, so your reviews have been very helpful and much appreciated for me. Sorry about providing such a short chapter. First, previous CH5 of 38.